I'm Mark Griffiths, and I will be joined by Andy Morrell and Mia Roberts soon. They're currently finishing off the live stream on Wrexham's YouTube channel. You can tune in there if you want to see what they've got to say about this match. Interesting team news for Wrexham. Well, the first point of massive interest is James McLean is starting. Of course, he had that horrible experience yesterday where he was involved in an accident in his car, and well, obviously we didn't know to what extent he was hurt, but he starts today, which is wonderful news, not only from a football point of view but also from a personal point of view. Good to see that there's no lasting effects from that horrible accident that he had. The other big call that Phil Parkinson has had to make is up front, and he has gone with Ollie Palmer and Elliot Lee. So Lee playing off Palmer. In midfield, George Dobson gets the nod ahead of Andy Cannon as well. So that midfield trio looks very solid and very experienced. Ollie Rathbone, Dobson and Matty James. And at the back, well, poor old Owen O'Connell had a rough time in both those away defeats, and specifically at Shrewsbury, where really both goals came after errors by him. He is on the bench. Dan Scarr returns to the starting lineup. So the Wrexham side, Arthur Okonkwo is in goal. The back three, Max Cleworth, Scarr and Tom O'Connor. The wing backs on the right, Ryan Barnett, and on the left, James McLean. In midfield, Matty James, George Dobson and Ollie Rathbone. And up front, Elliot Lee playing off Ollie Palmer. There are some really good options on the bench for Wrexham as well. Mark Howard in goal. O'Connell, as I mentioned, Seb Revan, Andy Cannon, and then a trio of attacking players, Paul Mullin, Stephen Fletcher, of course, who has been in such fabulous form, and Jack Marriott. So Wrexham have plenty of firepower should we need it, if we have to turn to our bench. Birmingham, well, they're quite tasty, aren't they? It seems the pattern is that if you lose to Shrewsbury, you then win 8 in a row, draw a couple, and then 4 in a row, because that is Birmingham's form. 14 games unbeaten, and, well, Chris Davis, their manager, who's doing a remarkable job in his first season as a manager, he's felt pleased that lately Birmingham have been digging out results in tough matches. Just chatting to their club media next to me, though, they said that there's been a bit of anxiety around the team simply because they feel they're not finishing the sides off. They're the better team but don't finish teams off. I mean, last Saturday's a case in point. A very comfortable win against an Exeter side who didn't really cause any goal-mouth threats to Birmingham, but it was only 1-0, a goal scored by their right back Ethan Laird in added time at the end of the first half. So yeah, there's maybe something to try to exploit there, or maybe just something to give succor to Wrexham fans who've been concerned about a couple of scratchy performances lately, because Birmingham have shown, well, isn't the cliche that the side that wins when they're not playing at their best the side that succeeds ultimately? That's how I seem to recall it going. Anyway, they have made one change from the side that beat Exeter, and, well, it shows the quality that they've got available for them. Lyndon Dykes comes in, Scottish international striker, and he will be playing off Alfie May. So to go through that team, Ryan Allsop is in goal. The back four has got some real quality. Laird, the goal scorer on Saturday, is right back. Alex Cochrane, left back. Ben Davis in the middle, paired with Christoph Clara. In midfield, now, they do have injuries, Birmingham, and the midfield pivots who were absolutely outstanding against Wrexham when Birmingham beat us 3-1 at St Andrews are both out injured. That's Tomoki Obata and Pike Seung-ho. So in their absence, Mark Leonard and Taylor Gardner-Hickman are standing in, and by all accounts did very well on Saturday, but Wrexham must look at that and think, well, possibly that offers an opportunity. On the flanks, Scott Wright is on the right, and on the left, of course, is the superstar of League One, Jay Stansfield, a £15 million signing. Wow. I mean, that really is quite something at this level. On the right-hand side is Scott Wright. And then, as I said, Dykes plays off Alfie May. Stansfield, the top scorer in the division, got 2 against us. May, the equal 4th top scorer in the division. So, wow. There's firepower, there's quality and depth. I mean, when you look at their bench, Bailey Peacock Farrell, the man with 3 last names, is their backup keeper. He's an international, of course. Grant Hanley, loads of recent Premier League experience of Norwich. He's just come in on a free transfer. Their captain, Christian Bielik, who was sent off against us at St Andrews, of course, is only on the bench. Luke Harris, the player who makes way from last Saturday, is on the bench too, alongside Ayumu Tokuyama and Lukas Jutkiewicz and Keshi Anderson, who was also a doubt, but is able to take a place on the bench at least. As the teams come out, both sides in their traditional colours. It's got a nice traditional feel to it. Wrexham in red shirts, white shorts, white socks. Birmingham will play in their blue shirts, white shorts and blue socks. As McLean, the Wrexham skipper, he's got a big white binding around his right forearm, where he, of course, hurt himself in that accident yesterday. But he's able to take his place, and let's be honest, his battling attributes are going to be useful here against a Birmingham team who are very, very good on the ball. They showed their quality when we played them earlier this season, and Wrexham need to step up to that. You wouldn't be able to get a ticket here, I tell you. It's a heck of an atmosphere. There isn't an empty seat in the house, and everybody is ready for a fascinating top-of-the-table encounter. Can Wrexham regain some momentum? Will Birmingham just keep rolling on? It's an intriguing game, an intriguing matchup. Remember, you can get in touch with us using the hashtag AskWrexham on Twitter or on Blue Sky to listen to the Wrexham fans singing to McLean to show their support. It's going to be an occasion, no question whatsoever about that. The referee today is unreadable at the moment, but I'll get there. Hang on a second. Yeah, Will Finn, that's him. As the skippers now shaking hands, McLean and the absolutely massive Birmingham skipper, Clara, who plays in the Bundesliga last season, of course. And I was saying in the commentary at Birmingham, I'll repeat it again just to give a bit of context. You know, we've had a lot of accusations that we spend a lot of money. We do, absolutely. Birmingham, as Phil Parkinson is in front of us now, rousing the fans up. Birmingham, heck, they have, apart from spending 15 million on Stansfield, I mean, they spent 2.5 million on Clara, and our record signing is 500,000. So that puts things into a little bit of perspective, doesn't it? Anyway, Wrexham are waiting for Birmingham to finish their huddle. They have now, and we can get things underway. Wrexham kicking towards the Cop end, the fourth wall in the first half. It's a mouth-watering prospect. The crowd are up for it. Let's see who is able to perform, as the referee, Will Finn, just waiting for the go-ahead from Sky. He gets it, and Birmingham kick off, feeding the ball back to Ryan Allsop, who knocks a long diagonal. Immediate test in the air for Scar, and he's beaten in the air. Early ball by May into the box, ricochets off right, and O'Connor has no option to put it out for a throw by the corner flag. Front foot start by Birmingham. Laird will take the throw in, about 10 yards out from the corner flag right hand side. Lots of movement around the edge of the box, and in the end it's worked wide to right. Right hits the goal line. Good work by O'Connor. Gets a foot in and gets a double ricochet. Throw goes Wrexham's way. Just after, you know, some of the mistakes we've had at the back, just good to get a couple of good solid defensive actions under our belt, I think, early on.
Yeah, just a great block by Tom O'Connor. He comes out. He's left a little bit 1v1, but you've got to deal with that in certain situations, and he's certainly done that in that first 30 seconds.
So O'Connor clears again. Ball bobbling in midfield. Dobson is bypassed, but Matty James tidies her up and Scar over the top. Something for Palmer to chase. He's done well to get there. No one's kept up with them. He cuts in the box. Clara stays on his feet well. It's fired to McLean, who pokes a cute little ball down the line. Rathbone by the corner flag. That's a good piece of work by Clara to nip in and get his toe to it. Throw to Wrexham.
Yeah, I like it. Ollie Palmer down the sides of them. I think you've just got to sometimes play in the opposition's half and earn the right. And that was Dan Scar, just nice little side foot over the top of the back four. Ollie Palmer on his bike, always a willing runner, and is able to get us up the pitch.
Throw in, which bypasses Lee and is launched clear. Scar, who put a ball into a good area for Palmer to chase, works it back to his keeper. Okonkwo with May sprinting towards him, knocks it long, too long. That'll bounce all the way through to his opposite number, Ryan Allsop. I mean, Birmingham really showed their quality, didn't they, at St Andrews, and showed they can step up to big occasions. We need to, well, make sure they don't do that again.
No, they were very good that night, but I think we did show them a little bit too much respect at the same time, so I think we'll be right up for this tonight, especially after last week. And already really good to see Dan Scar, good first few touches. That's what he will have wanted, to just settle himself down a bit, get into this game.
Well, we brought him in for the big occasions. He's a player, he's got lots of experience at a high level. As Birmingham play it forwards, Cleworth not with the best touch, and so Birmingham pick up possession again in the Wrexham half. It's switched nicely to Laird. He's got space to come into now. Heavy first touch, but that just draws Rathbone in, and he cuts in, puts it in the cross, which is headed wide. Took a deflection off a Wrexham player though. Corner, and Birmingham again getting on that front foot.
Yeah, we just need to make sure that if people are out wide, you've got to get out. You've got to try and stop those crosses, especially with Lyndon Dykes in the team. They had a different dimension to their play. Already seen that Jay Stansfield playing inside the fullbacks. He's right and virtually up front, and so is Alfie May. Alfie May dropping into that 10 role more often than not, but he's still a threat going forward. He plays it so well and played very, very well in the away game.
Everyone back defending for Wrexham. The referee goes across to check the balls in the quadrants because the Wrexham fans complained about it, and well, he tells the ball to be moved a millimetre. Can you hear the cynicism in my voice? I hope so. Anyway, here comes the in-swinger. Lots of big men lurking around the penalty spot for Birmingham, plus a couple in the 6-yard box. As the ball is swept in beyond the far post, free header, takes a deflection and goes behind off Scar. It's a shout for handball by Birmingham, which is, it's gained quite a lot of momentum actually, this penalty shout.
Well, it was a huge block on Scar. The two in the middle, there was a great block in the middle which released the man round the back to head it back, and by the time he had wriggled out of it, he's turning his back as it's headed back. I don't think he knows great deal about it, but his arms are up.
Well, it was odd because Dykes was the one who started shouting for it, and the others seemed to join in almost because he'd called for it. But, that's a penalty to me. I think his arms had full extension. Ball's floating in, 6-yard box. Okonkwo punches it into the ground. He's lucky. It's picked up by Rathbone, who feeds it nicely over to the right-hand side. And McLean now gets it onto his left foot. Good ball around the corner. The game's lacked shape as the players break out from the penalty area. And Wrexham have to move around in their own half. They have them now. O'Connor down the line very deliberately. Finds Palmer. Laird snapping away, concedes the throw, and Palmer is quick to turn. Looks to take it early. Lee says, don't, I'm isolated up here.
Yeah, did well there, Palmer, just holding it up. Saw he didn't have many red shirts around him, wins the throw. But yeah, just going back to that penalty shout, it definitely hits his hand. It's a really difficult one for him though, Scar, because it goes right over his head. He's got to sort of almost turn quickly, can't quite get round it, so an interesting one.
Well, I think they're a bit lucky as well. That's a nice piece of work by May to turn O'Connor. Good work though by McLean, who just nudges him off the ball. Runs it out for a throw on the halfway line. Throw down the flank. Palmer touches it on nicely. Lee's on the chase, but he won't get that. It's fed back by White to his goalkeeper. And Davis, beg your pardon. Headed away by Scar. Palmer brings down nicely. And bundled to the ground. Free kick to Wrexham on the left flank. Chris Davies unliked that decision, but there was contact.
Yeah, well, he certainly bought that. He didn't really have anywhere to go. 3 players around him. So go down with a little bit of contact, buy the free kick, and get your team a chance to play forward.
Scar go long again, but that's got too much on it. Barnett. I don't even know Barnett applauds the intention. He'd like that. And Wrexham have managed to put a couple of balls in, both by Scar over the top, just looking to turn Birmingham's defence. Wrexham fans are in good voice.
Yeah, it's one thing I noticed as we've walked back from the fan zone was the noise in here. Normally, the last few games have been a little bit teetering on an edge. They want to get behind them, but we haven't really given them anything to get behind. There's obviously no need today. It certainly spells it out for itself, doesn't it, today's game? And they're right up for this one, as should the players be.
It's a good challenge by Dobson then, just snapping in ferociously and winning a throw-in. About 15 yards into Birmingham's half on the right-hand side. And Barnett throws it down the line. Touched on by Palmer, but he's backing into his man. Free kick to Birmingham. But yes, it's Birmingham again. They're moving the ball around confidently, looking good. Wrexham just having to dig in and make sure that Birmingham don't get control of the game. As Leonard works it wide to Cochrane on the left. Birmingham just recirculating it around the edge of the area. It's lifted over McLean, who backpedals, does well to get his head to it, and O'Connor importantly gets to that ball first when Dykes was after it. His clearance goes high in the air, and again Rathbone does well. Dobson scrapping away in midfield, can't come away with it. Gardner-Hickman tidies up.
Well, it's a fascinating formation that Birmingham play. They are really a four at the back, but they're not really. Cochrane really pushes on. Jay Stansfield comes inside, and then there are three sort of strikers, but really, really narrow. And then you've got Wright out this side. So it sort of looks like a three when you actually if you took a picture of it. But it's the movement of Stansfield and May right in that middle pitch. Obviously two fantastic players and have got goals in them. But their movement is the one that causes most of the trouble.
As Scar manages to head the ball back to Okonkwo to make sure he can pick it up. Yeah, we're just looking at them when you were saying that, May drops off. We've got four players at the back, but Scar has followed May, and there's just gaps appearing, little players getting dragged around. And it's going to be very interesting how Wrexham cope with that. The throw to McLean, nice bit of footwork by him, just cuts inside right, goes back to O'Connor. O'Connor's got his head up, plays it into the second hole, looking to turn the defence again. Lairds will get there, but Lee is on his back, and Lairds is having to protect the ball before scooping out a clearance. It's not just a clearance, it's a good ball to right, but he can't pick out May. Hurried past by O'Connor, doesn't find Palmer. Big challenge by Palmer though, wins it, and Rathbone can hit this. He kills it. Oh, what a goal! What a goal! Ollie Rathbone, take a bow. That is an absolute screamer. Birmingham complaining that Palmer fouled Clara, but didn't seem to be an awful lot of contact to me, and Rathbone was so quick, latched on it, curler from 25 yards, bottom right corner.
Well done, Ollie Rathbone. Like you say, Mark, take a bow. Does so well. Just plays to the whistle like you always should. Birmingham are furious, mind, but who cares? 1-0 Wrexham.
Well, I think it's a free kick, Mark.
Yeah.
The way that he's gone through the back of it, but the ref's played on him. I think Ollie Palmer's more surprised than anybody to see that the ref's not pulled it back, but carry on. And what he does do is, though, he uses the defender brilliantly to just bend the ball around into that far corner. Keeper doesn't see it till it's already halfway there, and then he can't muster a dive to get there. That for me is a free kick. But then Ollie Rathbone brilliantly wriggles his way out and then bends a fantastic shot into that far corner.
If I was representing Ollie Palmer in court, I would say that possibly Gardner-Hickman had his foot on the ball and Palmer played under his foot. Malud. But
I've seen him given.
Yeah,
Put it that way.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not necessarily saying you're wrong, I'm just saying I like that referee's decision there. There's now Wrexham looking to break from the back. Good touch by Lee, and it's helped on nicely by Matty James, who played a shrewd pass at the start of that move, which led to the goal. Birmingham clear, and it's nodded on. Good leap by May as Stansfield breaking through the centre now. Works it wide on the right-hand side. First time cross by Wright to the far post, looking for Dykes, who goes down rather easily at the far post. I think Gardner-Hickman it was again. And now Wrexham bring it away and win the throw-in. It's all come down to Wrexham left and Birmingham right at the moment, hasn't it? It's been really quite lopsided.
Well, the actual move starts with a really nice ball from Ton O'Connor down this line. Managed to keep it in, Laird has to deal with it. He does all right with it, but then we pick up the second ball, and then Ollie goes pressing. So does the other Ollie, the Ollie squared, if you like, on the press.
Elliot Lee makes a really good run as well. It gives Ollie Rathbone an option, doesn't choose him in the end, chooses the right option by going on his own, because Ben Davies doesn't really do the press very well. He ends up sprinting to the ref in the end. If he sprinted that fast to Ollie Rathbone, I don't think he would have scored.
I must say that shout for a penalty then by Gardner Hickman, looking at the replay, I wouldn't give a penalty, but there was more to it than I thought. Dobson very deliberately, they had contact in his back and pushed, and it's the sort of thing, again, you could give, but...
Yeah, but if you're giving that a penalty, there's going to be about 15, 20 penalties in the game, so I think he has got an arm on his back, but he's just eased him out the way more than pushed him out the way.
Well, maybe there should have been at least one penalty so far already.
Is that Wrexham tinted glasses I've got on there? Because I'm screaming for it probably at the other end.
Yeah. Oh, it's a sloppy pass at the back by Leonard, throw into Wrexham as he tries to switch it across to Laird. It's a freezing night here at the racecourse, and a bit of wind coming in now as well, but a goal like that keeps you warm. I'd love to see an explanation of Rathbone's lack of goals in his career, because the goals he scored for us have been good. Throw towards the corner of the box, Palmer touches it on Clara, is in control of that. Lee tries to challenge him, but he can't stop him running it behind for the goal kick.
Well, I remember speaking to him on Matchday Live after he got his first one, and he was absolutely delighted. And then speaking to him after he got that winner, he was over the moon. He said it was highlight of his career. And I think,
he had the biggest grin, didn't he?
Exactly. Andy will say, you get one, the confidence it gives you as a player, you'll take on those shots maybe previously you wouldn't have taken.
Barnett launches it long. Palmer backing into his man, does really well to bring it down, and a clever overhead kick because he has vision. He sees Lee and Barnett there. Burnett sprint on the right. Players arriving in the box now for him. He's held it up well. Cuts inside Cochrane, then looks to go back outside. Maybe could have used his left foot then because 3 players had arrived in the box. But as there is, Wrexham go back to the halfway line. That's okay. Wrexham prioritising possession, making sure as we horseshoe it around to the left that we pull Birmingham out and look for spaces. O'Connor, that's a good idea. Look for Rathbone, who tackles back well. The ball didn't quite reach him. He got a chance, and wow, and the throw-in's gone Wrexham's way. Yeah, the referee quite rightly overruled his linesman. Phil Parks is going mad, but for me that was clearly a Birmingham throw.
So the fourth official stood in between Phil Parkinson screaming in one ear and Chris Davies screaming in the other ear from literally about 30 centimetres. And he must be stood there going, I don't get paid enough for this job.
Well, so does go Birmingham's way. Scar heads it clear anyway. And then a good foot in by James Dobson. Finds Palmer, who did really well to nod it down. It was all very adjacent in there. And it came to nothing in the end, but certainly that goal is a little bit of spring in Wrexham's step, and we're looking sharper coming forwards with our passing than we were, well, certainly against Peterborough, but then that's a very low bar, to be fair, to be comparing it to. So, at the back again, Birmingham just looking for the pass that can bring them out from the back. Wrexham in a high block in the end. Allsop, the keeper, gives it to Clara. Laird, Rathbone shows him outside. Oh, it's a funny miss kick by Laird, and McLean drives onto it, and that's a great ball over the top. Dobson, edge of the area, has got a player on marks at the far post, and he puts it behind him. Lee was in all sorts of space, and Dobson put it behind him. What an opportunity that was for Wrexham. Horrible mistake by Laird, should have been punished. Now then, here's Rice trying to get an end to the ball, but it's not a good pass by Stansfield. Goes through to Okonkwo. What a chance that was, though.
Yeah, I'm not too sure how he's managed to choose the wrong option there. I thought maybe he had a bit more time, he could have driven on, had a bit more space, and even the ball in, I don't know whether he even had to lift it. I just thought he had a bit more time there. I think he'll be really disappointed with that final product.
Well, first and foremost, it's a brilliant run, and it's well seen by James McLean as well, because it was really difficult. There was a load of bodies in the way, and he's just played it into there. A great first touch by Dobson. He gets his head up, and like you say, Mia, could he wrap that round that last defender into that vacant corridor? But maybe good. You have to give Clara a bit of credit, and he'll put himself in a really good position to stop that ball going in there.
Yeah, he's getting himself between man and ball, isn't he? And demanding Dobson does something special to find Lee. But on the other hand, Lee was in so much space that scoop it near him, and he'll probably have a chance to. He's got time to bring it down. So big moment that. Clara at the back punches the ball across, and it's picked up by Davis and carries it to the halfway line. Feeds it forwards. Little ball around the corner by Stansfield. That goes to the return ball. Gets goal side at Cleworth. Then sits onto his right foot, but Cleworth blocks the shot. Goal kick, a corner. But yeah, that's the quality of Stansfield, isn't it? In just a moment of acceleration, he can open you up.
Well, he's drifting inside onto Cleworth, and then Lyndon Dykes and Alfie May, they're sort of occupying the other two. So you're 1v1 with your man, and once he drags you out of your spot, there's little spaces in behind, and they certainly exploit that there. He's really quick on and sharp off the mark, little 1-2s, then gets his shot off, but fair play to Max. He gets back because a good block in the way of it, out for a corner.
Another corner to the far post. Is a free header. It's in. Now, was it offside? No, it's a goal. Header at the far post, and it was headed on target. A player very close to the goal line nodded it in, but there was no flag. I mean, it's a crowded goal mouth, so maybe that explains why there's no offside, but yeah, it's definitely not offside.
Well, they had a warning, didn't they, before, where they peeled around the back. Lyndon Dykes right around the back. All he has to do is head it back towards goal and hope, and it does. It goes through, ricochets off somebody, maybe looking like it's come off Alfie May in the melee in the middle, and he's put it in for 1-1. Very, very simple.
Well, Conquo ran out of the box to complain with the ref. Referee's talking about blocking off of markers again. It is May, I think, isn't it, looking at it? He was standing with an open goal to nod it into, but again, maybe not. That looks more like Laird, actually, does it? Anyway, Wrexham trying to break forwards again. Rathbone's got it. That's a neat little ball to Lee, who helps it round the corner. Barnett now. Early cross is a good one, and Rathbone can't make it. McLean is challenged, crucially, 6 yards out. That was real pressure by Wrexham. But Birmingham get away with it in the end. Yeah, McLean, it just wouldn't quite stick for him, but good response to conceding that equaliser by Wrexham.
Yeah, they get a really good second ball, and it's just McLean's first touch is on the edge of the box. He just can't quite take it down. Just runs away from him a little bit, and they're able to clear it.
Yeah, it's really pinged into him, isn't it? He does well to get his chest on it in the end. He's in a really good position, but like you say, just won't quite fall for him. Good recovery defending in the end from Birmingham.
As Wrexham, through Scar, take a risk at the back. He was tackled on the edge of the box. He's the last defender by May, but he managed to recover. Now here's McLean taking a chance and stumbling in his own box under pressure, but he lays her off and the ball's knocked long. Clara beats Lee in the air. McLean comes over the top of Laird to win it. It's a real scrap. Then O'Connor, good instinctive stab down the line first time. It's well read and fed back to the keeper by Davis, but Palmer was after it. It's intriguing, this 20th minute, and both sides have shown real threat. As again, here's Clara deep in his own half. He squares it, and it goes back in the end to the keeper, Astle. The Birmingham fans making the noise now after that goal, as the ball's worked over to the right hand side. Laird again with a slightly ropey touch. It's fed over the top where McLean misjudges it and then goes clattering into right, and the ref did well there, I thought, just to wait and see, but he had to give a foul for that. He totally misjudged it and clattered into right.
Well, really interesting of seeing how Wrexham deal with the movement of the front three, because I think it was Tom O'Connor there, comes right out in with Lyndon Dykes, keeps coming. Lyndon Dykes sees that he's coming with him, just keeps going, and there's a huge hole left behind it. McLean then drops in just to get a little bit tighter, then goes really up for that ball. He just gets it wrong and goes straight through the back of the Birmingham player.
Ball over the top looking for May is too straight, goes straight through to Okonkwo. I was just looking then as well, Dykes is finding bits of space between the lines, and Matty James having to look over his shoulder and be aware of where he is, rather than release himself and Wrexham had the ball. Okonkwo with a massive kick, and that's straight into Clara's head. Won well by Massey James though, as it's headed clear. McLean now in a little bit of space on the left, sets himself, rolls it down the line. Rathbone has made a good run into out and holds the ball up. He's got a man on him and is forced to the corner flag where he wins the throw-in the end. Good hold-up play. Although to be fair, Gardner-Hickson stuck to him like glue.
Yeah, but it's something we didn't do in the Shrewsbury game, was get our midfielders up down into those channels where we can just roll the ball down and maybe get a throw or something up the pitch.
McLean throw, Lee in the box, spins nicely, drives it in the goal mouth, headed away firmly though by Clara. It'll be picked up on the left by Scar, who whips it straight back in there. There's Clara, the German centre-back again to deal with it. Massey James intercepts, and just for a moment there's confusion between O'Connor and Scar, and O'Connor panics, puts the ball out of play as he tries that ball down the side again.
Yeah, miscommunication between the two of them. I think one needs to just take control, give a big shout, but they don't, and then Tom O'Connor ends up just chipping it into the stands.
Laird with the throw then, about 10 yards into his own half, 22nd minute, 1-1 here at the racecourse. Laird throws it in, Scar, powerful header, Palmer brings it down nicely, but then loses it. Referee gives the free kick as he clipped Lenners as the midfielder took the ball from him.
Good game, isn't it?
It is, isn't it? Yeah.
Real intent by both teams.
It felt to me like there was an air of pessimism around the Wrexham fans as the ball's knocked over Wrexham's defence, and wow, Wright has not kept her in, but he got a lot closer to keeping it in than, well, I thought he would, and I think the McLean thought he would, because McLean was just jogging back.
And O'Connor, I think they were both watching, and then as it got closer and closer, they'd have been crossing their fingers even more and more to just make sure that it gets across that white line.
Yeah, that was a slight relief, that. Remember you can get in touch using the hashtag AskWrexham, ASKWXM, on Blue Sky and Twitter. We may not get much chance during the game, but at half-time I promise you will. Oh, it's a poor goal kick by Okonkwo, lifted back in by Rice. Okonkwo comes out of the box and gets there and launches it out of play again. And I'm not saying this is an example of it, but I'd like to see us starting to build down the right a bit more, that Cleworth and Barnett combine so well, and I'd like to see Barnett getting in more positions. Steve on Ask Wrexham saying that Barnett's exceptional at those crosses that he scored from. Needs to keep getting the ball down there for him to do his thing, as I concur with that.
Yeah, it'll be difficult for Cleworth though to go forward, because he's always got the thought of Stansfield in his mind. If he does go forward, obviously Stansfield have to go with him, which is something, but if he doesn't and he cheats a little bit by staying up the pitch, then there might be issues.
Laird gets a cross in, and O'Connor had to be careful then as Stansfield went for it. If he committed, he could have caught him. Birmingham out on the flank. Laird, his cross well blocked by Rathbone, throw in by the corner flag. Again, Rathbone's so eye-catching with his energy in midfield, isn't he?
Yeah, brilliant. Exactly what you want from your man out wide, whether it's your full-back, your midfielder, whoever's doing that job. Just stop that cross. Don't let anything get in that box. He does that as well as, not allowing the corner as well. Just the throw-in.
So Laird with the ball in his hands, throws it into the box. It bypasses his first target, and it's just about cleared by Mike James, who seems to misjudge the bounce slightly. He gets it away the second attempt, and there's a good challenge on the edge there. Birmingham one-hand ball, not given, and Palmer chips down the flank, looking for the pace of Barnett. It's a crucial cover by Ben Davis, who gets it back to his keeper. But that was a good idea, that. Barnett's pace nearly got him clear down the right. As it is, here's Astle, the keeper. Gretchen Wood is anticipating a goal fest on Ask Wrexham. It's certainly open. Both teams looking to get at each other. I mean, if you're Birmingham, you'd do that every week anyway, wouldn't you? The quality they've got. But Wrexham is certainly not showing that sort of level of over-respect, Mia, that you were referring to earlier.
No, been really impressed so far. What will be 25 minutes in? Looked like already 10 times the performance we saw last Thursday, which is what every Wrexham fan wanted to see tonight. Just that little bit of extra fight.
Here's Laird now, carrying it forwards towards the halfway line. Rice stretches the Wrexham defence out on the flank. And it's fed back inside as Birmingham switch to the left instead. Davis has got Cochrane ahead of him. Instead, the ball has worked to Taylor Hickman. Good tackle on him by Dobson. Throw in to Birmingham. About 35 yards out left-hand side. Cochrane quickly back to the halfway line. The ball's fed into midfield. Clara looks up. Maybe thinking about the switch, but McLean saw him looking and reduced that space. He and Wright are really isolated to them on the flank as the ball's chipped in there. McLean does well to get first contact and indeed second contact. The ball sliced back into the box by Dykes. Rathbone half clear. And these are the situations where Wrexham need to be careful as we're having to defend the box. It's good to see there that Wrexham didn't drop back into the box. Just stepped up and have forced a mistake. Lee is after this crucial foot in by Leonard as both Palmer and Lee were trying to latch onto another sloppy ball by Laird. And now it's Davis with the diagonal. It's a good one towards Alfie May. O'Connor does well to get there. Second ball drops unkindly for Wrexham, but Rathbone wins it brilliantly and pings a hell of a pass to Palmer, who can't hold her up, but he does fight and win the throw in the halfway line.
Well, what a left foot zing that was into your striker. Absolutely teed off. It's gone about a foot off the deck, straight into Ollie Palmer. Really good touch by Ollie Palmer as well. Two men converge on him, and he manages to just get a throw to take a little bit of pressure off.
So throw on the halfway line, left-hand side. Palmer's a target. It's headed clear. May chests it down. It's mishit by Dykes, but it manages to drop to Stansfield, who hooks over the top, looking for the pace of May. He nudges Scar, but Scar's able to nod it down, and O'Connor plays it wide. McLean, I really didn't think he kept that in. Flag stayed down, and it goes back to the keeper, Aspel, anyway. Brilliant picture from Jason, the Wrexham Phoenix, saying hello to us from the Phoenix Reds, who've gone all the way to LA to watch this match. That's a fair journey. And there they are in that mad dome thing. That's absolutely superb. Birmingham building at the back, where you got good entertainment so far. It's got to be said.
Well, I saw him putting the cameras out earlier, fixing them up for this COSM. Just looks a brilliant experience, doesn't it?
It does, doesn't it? It's incredible. As Birmingham building on the halfway line patiently. Laird, his passing has just been a little bit scratchy. He's offered Wrexham a couple of opportunities going forward. The Sweater and Clara's carried it a long way through the lines. It's picked up then and squared nicely by Stansfield. May drives an important block by McLean. It ricochets away for a corner. He really got hold of that shot.
Yeah, that's where we got to be really careful. Just Birmingham step into our half, and Alfie May finds himself in all sorts of space. And I just thought he could have got that shot off a little bit earlier than he did. In the end, he managed to close down well and get the block in. But warning signs for Wrexham.
It'll be another in-swinger from the right-hand side. Again, Wrexham with everybody back defending as Cochrane stands over the corner. There's a man on the Okonkwo. The ball swept into that area, and Okonkwo has to stretch over him to pour the ball clear. Rathbone again completes the clearance, and Wrexham, through Matty James, chase to the halfway line just to force them back. Birmingham, when it's fed forwards, O'Connor handles it well, just blocking Laird off, runner behind for the goal kick.
Yeah, he read the run really well, O'Connor. He just steps across him and then runs the ball out. Okonkwo does actually well. There's bodies all around him, and the ball's actually inside him going into the goal, and he's managed to get his body around it and punch it out. Rathbone does well as well, clearing his lines too.
Okonkwo with the goal kick then. As, again, Palmer the obvious target. He and Lee standing beyond the Birmingham back line. Palmer now jumping with Clara. A little scrap between the two of them. I think the ref's right to just not intervene there. Palmer ends up on the floor. Astle feeds the ball out from the back. And it's Davis squaring a Cochrane in his own half. Feeds it down the line, and that's a good spot. Danger here now as the ball's carried into the box. May takes over on the left-hand side. Dykes just lost his boot as he's running forwards there. May tries to cross. It's blocked. He shouts for handball again. That looked less convincing, and James does really well to win it and find Rathbone. And that's a good ball down the right channel to Palmer, who's running at Clara. He holds him off really well. Cuts inside. Great recovering tackle by Clara. He is class. What a good centre-back he is. Because Palmer did ever so well there to get at him.
Yeah, it's been a really good battle to watch so far, that one. Palmer just switching over between him and Davis. But like you say, Mark, I think Clara's arguably one of the best players in this Birmingham side. Really, really strong defender who, you know, for me is championship, if not higher level.
Well, played a whole season in the Bundesliga last year. Admittedly, they finished bottom in the end, but nonetheless, he played a full season in the Bundesliga. Wow. That's quite a pedigree. Birmingham moving it around again at the back. Ruby Slippers invoking the spirit of the patron saint of lost causes, Taylor Swift, and saying, shake it off, Reds. You got plenty of time. Indeed. Long ball forwards through the middle by Astle. O'Connor underneath it again. Heads it clear. Dykes brings it down nicely from a deep position. Tries long range shot. It's wide. It's good effort. He did well. Took it to the chest on the thigh and then launched it on the run. It was good play.
Well, Matty James, I'm just looking at him and he's trying to talk to his back three because there's so bigger gaps at the moment. If the keeper goes long, we're so deep that the midfielders aren't able to pick up the second ball once they're heading it back. You know, they're going to look to press because Birmingham want to play out. But if they do go long, Wrexham are really dropping. They've got to be brave. They've got to try and keep that high line. And then Okonkwo's got to come up and have a good starting position so that anything that does go over, he can sweep up.
Palmer concedes a free kick from the long ball. And we just have to be careful. I mean, we're going to have to appreciate, it's a rolling ball, ref sends it back. We're going to have to appreciate, aren't we, that there will be spells where Birmingham are penning us in. We mustn't get bogged down in that, mustn't drop too deep. But then by the same token, important not to concede a free kick like that straight from the long ball forwards as the ball falls out. Birmingham catches Cochrane offside. You know, we can't afford for those periods to last a long time. We've got to find out balls and we can't then concede free kicks and let him put it straight back in again.
Yeah, but we're happy from our shape, and we have been all season from that mid-block of just moving around and keeping the shape and stopping passing lanes going into strike stuff. It's just that we're up against the best team in the league and the real quality. So those lines, those positions, the way that your shape is, you have to make sure that they are spot on all times, because if they're not, then they'll be able to pick the hole in it.
Long ball forwards looking for Lee in the area, had no chance against Clara. Wright goes to ground and does well to win a sliding tackle with O'Connor. McLean keeps the ball in and is fouled by Dykes. The linesman was right next to it, didn't give it. Although, to be fair, he could have been saying in his mic to the ref, that's a foul. The Birmingham fans don't like that. It looks a pretty clear foul to me. And, yeah, Birmingham fans having a go at McLean.
Well, that's not a shock.
Yeah, exactly.
But it was a free kick.
Yeah.
He did just go into the back of him.
Yeah, I'm thinking with that, you know, like you said about the mid-block against most opposition, exactly like you said, I'd be quite happy with that. It's just, I just worry that Birmingham got the quality to turn it into what it was like in Birmingham. Oh, as Dobson does brilliantly to hook the ball down from behind him and switch to Barnett, who has a run at Cochrane. He draws two men to him and pulls it back. Cleworth getting forwards for the first time in the game, 35 yards out. Matty James made a cute little run for him. Cleworth didn't risk possession to try and roll him in. And now here's O'Connor looking at the diagonal. He plays it and he plays it well. Barnett brings it down level the edge of the area. Sets himself on his left foot, then back on his right, stands it up too close to keep it. Stansfield got back well eventually to cover. And the long ball forwards by Astle, trying to release Stansfield, but overhit, goes through to Okonkwo.
Yeah, on both the chances where Barnett had the ball there, Stansfield does work hard to get back in, help his mate Cochrane. And that's what you've got to do against Barnett. We said about it last week at Shrewsbury. You know, sometimes that's the answer, just double up, make sure he has nowhere to go. And even then, when they have doubled up, he still got the cross in. You know, it wasn't of the quality we needed, but that's the quality he has.
Long ball by Okonkwo, and Lee's done well to hold that up, backing into Davis and work it wide, and Barnett's getting into the game now. Another chance to run at Cochrane, and he's not getting help this time. Barnett whips across to the far post, which is overhit. McLean can't keep that in. But, you know, if Stansfield is cheating, and as a result he gets a free run, Barnett at Cochrane, I like that. That sounds good.
Yeah, Barnett in the game is good for Wrexham. But with the little passage of play before it, what happened is we went to Barnett, went to Cleworth, we came back out. That's when Cochrane releases because he wants to go up the pitch. That's when Jay Stansfield releases and wants to go up the pitch. And that's when we could potentially get them in off the back of that, because they're in the space high up the pitch then.
Misheader by Dykes, and Dobson picks it up 35 yards out, works it wide. Cleworth's gone ahead of Barnett, and he's pinning players back, gives Barnett time to measure across. Headed away firmly at the near post by Davis. Dobson now fails to bring the ball down cleanly and has lost it. It was good work by Stansfield to rob him, and May can't quite benefit because Matty James reads the game well and steps in. May is herring after Scar, but he can't get there. Rathbone back to Okonkwo, who launches it into the centre circle. Oh, Palmer gets up brilliantly to flick that on. But again, Clara is there reading the situation. Good pressure by Rathbone. Forces the back pass.
Well, I think there's a bit of wind going down the ground. I think a few of Okonkwo's kicks have held up, and a few of Allsop's have gone right through to the keeper. So looks maybe a little bit stronger than we actually think, especially when it gets up above maybe the stands and the fourth wall stand. It's certainly a bit more blustery.
Back pass to Astle, leaves him on the back foot, but he's calm as Lee puts him under pressure. And Birmingham work it down the right. Laird's down the line. McLean is after this man, but goes through right. Ref plays a good advantage. And the ball's fed in behind Scar, who's looking up to see what Okonkwo is. Doesn't get help really from Okonkwo, so he puts it out for the throw. And they have a little inquest. It's Laird receiving it from the throw. 8 minutes of the half left, still 1-1. The ball goes back to Astle once more. Davis drives on into the Wrexham half. Poor pass though. James's interception falls kindly for Birmingham. No Stansfield on the halfway line with Cochrane ahead of him. Turns nicely and goes past Dobson, who pulls him down. Free kick. Wrexham fans didn't like it, but Dobson doesn't argue. And Birmingham get the ball into play quickly again. Laird on the halfway line. Little give and go. Good pressure by McLean and a sloppy ball backwards which Palmer got a foot to. Again, Clara's in the right place at the right time. Palmer tries to pressure Astle, but Birmingham passed away out of trouble nicely. Back in the end to Astle. Palmer again goes to meet him. And again he plays the ball out calmly, and now there's a bit of space in the middle of the pitch for Mark Leonard, who feeds it down the left-hand side swiftly. Cleworth has to step out to cover Stansfield. 3 marked by 3 in the middle if Birmingham want to play it then that way. They've worked it across the Laird, and Wrexham are getting stretched and having to come back across. There's spaces appearing between Wrexham defensive players as the ball comes in. Good foot in that at the back by O'Connor. But again, they're getting the second ball. Gardner-Hickman working it wise. Right. Lets Laird take over, level the edge of the area. A little give and go by him. And the return pass is too strong. Laird tried to kid the officials and claim it took a nick off a Wrexham player, but it didn't. Goal kick.
Yeah, when the ball comes out wide to right, they're 3 for 2. You know, Tom O'Connor comes to take the hole, and Dan Scar's behind him, but there's May, Stansfield and Lyndon Dykes all attacking the space around them. If they put any quality in, we're outnumbered. One of our midfielders has to drop with that deepest liar. If it's Lyndon Dykes or whoever, they've got to drop in and help out.
Palmer wins a header, but Lee has gone behind him. Palmer couldn't see which channel he was in, and he's chosen the wrong one. Laird feeds it up. Dykes, good tackle on him by Matty James, who's made a couple of good challenges like that. Laird with the throw.
Yeah, we haven't had Matty James on the ball though at all, have we? He's done his job. He's trying to get close and tight to that midfielder, but that midfielder keeps changing. It's one of the front 3, but we just don't really know who it is, and it's really difficult.
He took a whack in the face from Dykes there and stopped playing for a moment. Complains the ref, nothing given. And then McLean again roughs up right. Wrexham through Phil Parkinson complaining, but I don't think got many grounds of complaint there. But he is clearly, deliberately rattling right, isn't he? Coming in behind and being very physical.
Well, he's going in at pace, and so he needs to just put the brakes on when he gets really tight, because he knows he's coming, and make him do something with the ball. But at the minute he's just carrying on and giving a cheap free kick away, allowing them to keep possession and maybe play a longer ball into our box.
Leonard stands on the free kick after negotiation. Laird and Clara and Davis all arrived late on the edge of the Wrexham box. And he's pushing his luck, Leonard. He's been told to hurry up. He's moved the ball once, and he steps up again and raises the ball as a signal. Rathbone doesn't look 10 yards either to me. Ref just says get on with it. He drills it in, and that's Okonkwo's ball taken comfortably. Now Lee wants an early release. I think Okonkwo's wise not to. Instead, he's got the chance to roll it out to Cleworth. And Cleworth on the corner of the box sets himself. Barnett is outside and receives him. And inside to James, back to Cleworth. They've worked a little bit of space for Cleworth now. And this time he drives it over the top, looking for Lee. Intercepted by Cochrane, but he's only heads of Barnett. 35 yards out, McLean's in acres of space trying to point that out to his teammates. As it's worked inside nicely by Dobson and quickly helped out by O'Connor to McLean, who's now got Laird isolated. First time we've seen this matchup, and McLean cuts inside him nicely, outside of his foot, sweeps it in, good header again by Clara. Lee, edge of the box, brings that down nicely and just couldn't keep control of it. You almost wonder when he brought that inside whether he was going to look for a contact off a defender, but it was a good challenge.
Yeah, that's where Lee comes alive in those little tight situations. Just moves that ball so quickly. He can just almost, it's a nightmare for a defender, and especially in the box. You just don't even want to put a foot in at times. So they do really well in the end. But James McLean, just that ball again, loves that one on the outside of his boot, but it's just difficult to then wrap your head around and get any real strong connection on it going towards that goal.
Wrexham wanted a decision, not given, and a quick throw into the Wrexham box. May's done brilliantly to lay that ball off. But Cleworth got clattered by May there. It was out of control. I'm not saying it was deliberate, but his studs were up and he looked to me to catch Cleworth quite high up there.
Yeah, he's gone to strike the ball, the shot. As the ball comes across, he's gone to hit it. He hasn't got it because Max does so well. And it just to follow through goes through Max and
fair play.
Yeah.
He's not made the drama out of it, and the May shakes. It was clearly accidental, but it was a nasty one. Looks like he caught him just below his knee. So free kick to Wrexham, but no more. And Okonkwo now will take 2.5 minutes of the half left. Okonkwo steps up, right-footed, hits it through the middle. Palmer jumping with Davis and collides with Davis. I think Palmer's gone down hers as well. I think Palmer's a little unlucky there. His eyes are on the ball. Davis hasn't jumped, and as a result, he's run into Davis. He's anticipating Davis jumping with him, I think.
Yeah, it's one of those, as a bigger striker, I think they're always going to get given against you, sadly, in Palmer's case. But I've been really impressed with him in this first half. I think he's worked really hard. I know there are a lot of questions, on that debate. Should we be starting Fletcher? But for me, what Ollie Palmer does, I know he hasn't done it maybe as much as he would have liked to so far this season, but when he does it and works this hard in games, he tires out these defenders, and that's what really gives Stephen Fletcher the foundations when he comes on to take advantage of that.
Yeah, exactly. Although the question that's been in my mind the last few minutes is, are we getting the system of Lee next to him working as much as we'd like? As Wrexham press well, throw goes to Birmingham in the end. In this game, are we getting Lee involved as much as we'd like?
Yeah, well, I know Andy mentioned he'd like to see more of Matty James on the ball. I'd love to see more of Elliot Lee on the ball as well. I think, he's someone we really miss in that midfield at times when he does get pushed forward a bit more. Sometimes he can get a little bit lost, and we just miss that little bit of, that creative spark in some instances, which I always feel Elliot Lee, he can just produce that little bit of magic.
Exactly, as Rice is muscled off the ball well by Scarn. Wrexham clear. Palmer's shirt being pulled on the blind side from the ref. He complains, but he doesn't get a decision, and then he snaps him with a late challenge on Clara. Ref doesn't give that either, and then he's given something to Birmingham. I'm not sure what. I don't think the ref is certain himself.
No, from first look, I think he's given a foul against Ollie Palmer, and then gone to check that Scott Wright's all right on this right-hand side for Birmingham. He's holding the back of his head by the looks of things. Yeah, you're right, actually. To be fair to the ref, he took his time because he followed where the ball was going and it went behind him, so he blew late because he had to wait and see where it had gone. Only 1 minute of added time. Slightly surprised it's only that, but it's been an entertaining half. Very fluent. For me, that's definitely a foul by Palmer. I got no objection to that, but it was definitely a foul on Palmer before that. Yeah, it's one of them, isn't it? When you don't get one against yourself, you go into the next one a little bit harder, thinking you might get away with it because the refs, feel a bit like he's against you. He's not going to give it. Exactly. Just looking at what happened to Wright, it was that challenge by Scar. Wright went to ground. Well, actually, he then lost his footing and sort of fell onto McLean. There's nothing sinister about it.
There's a bit of a whack on the back of the head. He's still rubbing it.
Yeah, I think it was Dansgaard's knee just catches the back of his head. Like you say, nothing sinister at all. Just one of them where he's wrong place, wrong time.
I think by falling onto McLean, it sort of kept him up there. Otherwise, he'd have hit the floor and Scar wouldn't have run into him. Long ball forwards by Astle, flicked on well by Dykes. Now it'll be kept in. That's good work by Rice, but an excellent block by McLean. O'Connor's clearance is blocked up. And here's Dykes again, pulling it back. Laird's got a chance to cross. Oh, work it wide. He works it wide. May now, chance to cross. Sweeps it in, and too close to Okonkwo. May have taken a flick off McLean, which helped the Wrexham keeper. And Okonkwo wanders up to the edge of his box. We've had over the added minutes. Remember, at half-time, you can go and hear what Andy and Mia think of the game on Wrexham's YouTube channel as Palmer has wrestled around. Ref doesn't give it again. Lee is trying to hold her up on the left flank, falls over, and the ref gives that. I've got to say, I think that was less of a foul than the one on Palmer. That is what you were referring to, the make-up foul, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, Elliot Lee does really well, though, just to keep it alive, make sure he can try and win something, and he does, even though I agree with you, Mark. I don't really think there was too much in it. Definitely plays for it. But what an opportunity for Wrexham to finish this half.
Yeah, just looking at the replay, I still can't see anything at all in that. So O'Connor to take it. There's no way Stansfield's 10 yards back, and the ref is walking across slowly to tell him. He goes back barely anything. The referee says that's okay. And he steps forwards. Once the rest back is turned to the fury of the Wrexham fans. So O'Connor whips the ball in to the far post. It's a decent header and a chance for a shot for Rathbone, puts it just over. There's a firm header by Palmer onto a defender. It's spanned to Rathbone, who hooked it just over the bar. Half-time whistle then goes, and we've given as good as we've got against the strong Birmingham side.
Oh, brilliant first half of football. You know, just in terms of quality, I thought it's been really brilliant to watch from both sides. You know, Wrexham not necessarily had loads of possession like Birmingham, but showing different style of play. Just was entertaining on that counter-attack. Been really good, shown some real good moments at times, and I think 1-1's a real fair result at the half-time whistle. And what an advertisement for League One football.
Yeah, it's a good game, it's good quality, and yeah, there was a bit of a pessimistic air around the racecourse, I thought, you know, after recent performances, which is a bit of an overreaction, seeing as we are third, but yeah, that was promising, that was good, and that shows what we are capable of doing against an exceptionally strong team.
Yeah, I think, you know, in my opinion, I think last Thursday knocked the stuffing out of a lot of people, and you know, really, you know, I don't know, maybe after that Barnsley away defeat as well, just not much to get too excited about. You know, not brought anyone in this January either. And I think, you know, if you win that Shrewsbury game last week, you sort of come into this Birmingham game not as a sort of write-off, but it takes a lot of the pressure off. I think, you know, today, like you say, a lot of pessimistic people, you know, not too confident. But I tell you what, you know, these boys, they always react. I think, you know, it's been over a year, I think, since we've lost consecutive games in the league. There's a reason for that. It's because we've got a strong, really strong mentality in that dressing room. That comes from the staff and the players. They work hard, you know, they know if they get a performance wrong, the next game they're determined to put it right, and they've absolutely done that in that first half. Now they've just got to go back in, collect themselves, address what they can, you know, possibly change. I think, you know, they might not have, I don't think they will have expected at all someone like Lyndon Dykes to start. I think that'll be addressed, making sure those gaps between defence and midfield aren't too big, don't get any bigger in the second, and go again and, you know, just try and get something out of this game.
Exactly, so Wrexham with a chance now to just regroup a little bit and look at the positive things that they've been doing and build on them. 1-1 here at half-time, and Wrexham can certainly be satisfied that they're offering a reminder of the quality that we've got. Are you doing the half-time thing with Andy? Or?
I'm staying up here, Mark.
Hey, cool. Oh, that's a treat. Yeah, absolutely. I would like to see Elliot Lee in. Oh, gosh, can I just point out something to you? Right, Sky are obviously on a break, and the presenter, there's a woman with her who's obviously must be makeup, but she will not leave her hair alone, and it's disturbing. Before they went on air, and I mean a long time before they went on air, she like was just like brushing her hair for literally a good 10 minutes, and it was just, it's bothering me that.
Yeah, I'd just like to point out on that fact, on Matchday Live, I don't have someone, you know, doing my hair or anything. That's all me. So.
Well, you look, you know, like you do.
Well, exactly.
But I tell you what, yeah, it's she's doing a coat now for. I'm obsessed with this. She just commentates on that. She was doing the belt on the back of her coat for her. Oh man, imagine working on Sky and you've got like people just going around doing everything for you. Oh, what a dream. Anyway, as Wrexham Dragon is hopefully trying to get back into get a bit of Sky coverage by celebrating along with Happy Birthday. Yeah, I'm really pleased with the way Wrexham are going, and there's just a little thought in my head that we're not quite getting Lee into it enough, and that where Palmer is doing really well and winning 50-50s and winning flick-ons, it ironically feels a little bit like a game where you want a striker alongside him. Although I must emphasise, though, I've heard people lately saying, not liking Lee playing alongside Palmer. It's worked extremely well, I think, more so often than not. So I'm not criticising that idea, but this is the way it's panned out has felt like a game where you more want a striker feeding off Palmer. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm quite happy when I see the Elliot Lee in that forward role. I think he drops in well. Sometimes we almost do a bit of a box midfield, sort of leave that striker up top, whether it's Palmer, Fletcher, whoever. And I think I'm like you, Mark. I like both sort of styles of play, not to sit on the fence or anything, but I will. But I think probably the question for me would be, do you sort of lack that creativity when you do put Lee in that position? At times when you ask him to maybe sit a bit closer to his other striker, and that's the worry. But you've got to say, I don't know the full stats, but when they have played together, I think more often than not we've got an all right result. So that's sort of football. It's a results-based business. But obviously now with Jack Marriott coming back into the fold, getting fitter again, I think that only boosts us, not only for having Jack back himself, but surely that pushes Mullin on an extra bit. Fletcher as well. You're just looking at going from strength to strength. Mo Farrell obviously still on the fringes, and I'm sure they're probably still sniffing around for maybe someone else this Jan. Who knows who that's going to be? Still a bit of a question over Sam Dalby as well. But it'll be really interesting to see these next few weeks what sort of approaches we take. Obviously got another game Tuesday. Interesting to see if he rotates it again. I think at the moment people are just playing based on performance, and I think last Thursday Fletcher started really well. Obviously got his goal from the start, but in my opinion I do prefer him as that impact player. I think he is so good at doing that, and I think I prefer him to be that impact player rather than a Palmer being that impact player. I just think he suits that role a bit better. But it'll be really interesting to see in the next few weeks what happens going forward as Wayne Phillips removes my headphones just for the recording. Yeah,
we're getting bullied here by a Wrexham legend that's bang out of order. I think that there are certain situations and setups in games where the Lee Palmer idea really works, and I also feel that I understand totally that a lot of people thinking we want to get another striker in, we want to bolster that part of the team, but I wouldn't disagree, but I also feel like I don't think that our current strikers, unless they continue to be unlucky with injuries, will score so few goals in the second half of the season. Fletcher now appears to be over his knee problem and capable of starting sometimes. Mullin, I feel ever so sorry for Mullin, but I still feel it'll come. Marriott's been injured. I just feel like that there's more goals in that setup than we've had at the moment, and it's not as if any of them for me are playing badly. It'll come as long as fine if we bring someone else in, but it'll come anyway with them, I feel.
Yeah, in my opinion, it's sort of because of the standards that have been set over the past few years, we've gotten a bit too used to Paul Mullin scoring 30 a season and setting just obscene levels of high quality that maybe suddenly now I think our top scorers are Fletcher and Lee, is it? Maybe Max is up there as well on 6, and suddenly people are going, well, where's the double figures? But I'm not sure. I think it's a really difficult one. You've got to make sure you get it right at this level now, because you're not spending small amounts anymore. You're spending the big bucks, and you don't want to be wasting them, in these sort of leagues. So it'll be really an interesting one. But I'm sure they'll have a plan in place. They will have known they'll have had these conversations way before January. This isn't something that'll be rushed. It never is with Phil Parkinson. We've seen that a lot in terms of, bringing players in. Sometimes it's, literally last day of the transfer window because, they don't rush. They make sure it's right, and then they'll get it over the line. So, there'll be no panic. And, I think, look at someone like Jack Marriott. He was probably on track before that injury to get well into double figures. So he'll just be hoping, he gets back into this team and continues that vein of form. I thought he had a few, little bright moments. It's difficult to comment on that Shrewsbury game, really, with any real positives, but obviously great to see him back on in that, and he did look bright at times when he did get that little bit of service.
Yeah, precisely so. And Marius, again, is going to be a big bonus once we get him fully up and running. You said about Lee playing up front. Well, here we are. Let's get the stats. First time he did it, unless I'll double check this in case I've made a mistake here, but it looks like we first did it against Burton. No, I think was it Barnsley? I think we first did it, wasn't it? Yeah, it was. So Barnsley, he played up front and caught Barnsley out. You know what? I'm going to go back on myself again, just looking across at those teams. So it was Exeter that we caught out and we beat 3-0. So that was the first time we did it. Then he played up front against Lincoln. We won 1-0. Then he did it up front against Barnsley, and we won 1-0. Then Burton, so 4 games in a row, 3-0, 1-0, 1-0, 1-0. The next time he did it was Bristol Rovers, when we were winning through a goal by him, and he was running the match.
He was absolutely, running players off the park. And I think if he didn't go off, sadly, with that injury, I think we come away from Bristol Rovers with 3 points and arguably 4 or 5 goals, because he was absolutely, on fire that day, and really disappointing when he had to go off. But yeah, just going through them games there, you see, the results speak for themselves, and that's why, Phil Parkinson has chose to go with that system. And now it's up to your Paul Mullins, your Jack Marriott's, to, when they get their opportunity, they've got to take it and earn that spot off Elliot Lee.
I mean, the one exception, as you alluded to earlier, was the Shrewsbury game, of course, but then, that's a record of 4 wins, 1 draw and 1 defeat. That feels like promotion form to me. On Ask Wrexham, I like Ruby Slippers has sent us a picture. Look what arrived today, and it's a book called Teach Your Dog Welsh. The immediate question comes to mind is, does Ruby Slippers have a dog? And if not, what? Oh, Sean OL says, half-time impression, Cosm is amazing. If they can turn a profit on this thing, expect it everywhere. Wow. It does look impressive, doesn't it? Gareth is also joining in and saying that he thinks Marius and Fletcher are a better option. After Chris Malika said, I think Moles and Marriott would be great together. Discuss. We had that on Ask Wrexham actually a couple of weeks ago, which I answered on the podcast. It's not that you can't play 2 smallish strikers, and both of them have the ability to hold the ball up and to compete with bigger centre-backs. But Parkinson said himself quite early in the first season of Welcome to Wrexham, didn't he? He likes the big man, small man combination. It does maybe give him the option to mix it up more. So I can understand that as well. Do you think he'd ever pair those 2?
Who knows?
Who knows
with Phil Parkinson? But no, I think it's always something you can try, isn't it? And I know Paul Mullin hasn't hit the levels we would have expected maybe so far this season, but there's still a lot of games to go, and I still think he's still got that potential, well and truly in him. So, if both of them start, putting that ball in the back of the net again, then who's to say they don't start up top with each other, because that could be a real option. If they're both flying, that it would be really difficult for Phil Parkinson to sort of say no to.
It's I think as well, I know this sounds a bit daft, you've got to make sure Mullins right physically. And I've said this before, that last season maybe it was only the last 10 games where he was really backing into and buffeting those centre-backs. And if he's able to do that part of his game, then he will make the ball stick a bit more up front than you'd expect a player of his profile to do. And that makes that viable. I kind of think it's not something Parkinson would be rushing to do anytime soon myself. But if we can get the ball down in midfield, if we can get those midfielders close to the strikers, if get Matty James in positions where he can play the sort of pass he played to Lee against Bristol Rovers, then having two strikers of lots of movement like that and pace could cause serious problems, couldn't it?
Yeah, and first of all, what a good position to be in when you're talking about these sort of quality of strikers and which pair plays with who, and even when you bring Elliot Lee into that conversation as well, I think that's a real good problem to have. I know people are saying we should get another one, but it's a really good conversation, and right now obviously in this game I think Palmer and Lee are doing okay. I think Palmer's having a really good first half. Can we get Lee into the second half a bit more? I think that'll be the message at half time. If we can get Matty James on that ball, I think he's the one who's going to find Elliot Lee. I think back to that Bristol Rovers goal, what an assist by Matty James that was. I know Bristol Rovers in that first half was so wide open, so many spaces, but who's to say we can't open Birmingham up?
Yeah, absolutely. As A-Star 76 on Ask Wrexham is asking about the presenter on Sky. Does anyone actually need their hair brushing for 10 minutes? How much hair has she got? I would, from a distance, I would say it's not super long. It's like just beyond shoulder length. Does it look sort of fairly thick though? Is that what I'm saying?
She's got more than Ben Tozer, who's stood next to her.
Yes. Yeah, Ben Tozer, sorry, I just laughed at about deafened you, me, and everyone else. Yeah, Ben Tozer is down there with them, and yeah. But I guess probably 10 minutes is a bit of an exaggeration, but I will put emphasis on the word bit. It was really weirdly sustained. It was like watching one of my cats clean themselves, except someone else was doing it. Jarvis has a nice one. This is the kind of game that gets won by a Braveheart cue picture of Fletcher scoring with a header. I like it. As Wrexham are about to restart the match then, kicking towards the Stoke Cold Brew coffee stand. Cracking first half. What does the second half hold in store? Referee again, as you do with televised games, just waiting for the go-ahead from the broadcaster. Great care and attention on the kick-off routine as Palmer tells Cleworth to step back a couple of yards. Doesn't go to him anyway. Scar delivers a diagonal looking for McLean. It's headed away by Laird, and Rathbone again is eager getting across. He can't avoid getting a touch on the ball, and it goes for a throw to Birmingham. Laird lifting it forwards. That's a good ball. Ball just evades May. Good tackle by James, but it falls to Wright, and again McLean does well this time to win the throw in. Another robust physical challenge on Wright. He's not pulling out of those tackles. McLean down the line, flicked on well by Palmer. Lee can't get to it. Palmer wins it again, and Lee this time does well to create a loose ball, and it is good covering that, just to hook the ball clear after Rathbone was going after it. And the ball back into the box for Palmer to chase, but he won't get to that. Cochrane runs her out for the goal kick, but positive start by Wrexham, fighting for loose balls in the Birmingham half.
Yeah, Alfie May just having a little limp around after that tackle from James. Nothing in it, but just caught him. I think he's feeling it a little bit.
All stop, going long. Dykes the target. O'Connor steps up with and wins it well. It's headed back into that part of the pitch by Leonard, but too much on it. Throw to Wrexham. O'Connor with the ball in his hands. He's looking for options. He's got Palmer in the second hole. Looks for him. It goes beyond him. Lee, a nice little knockdown. Rathbone's tackled firmly in midfield though. Good challenge to win it back by McLean. And then Scar tries to switch it and puts on Barnett's head. He's unlucky. He tried to nod on Dobson. Doesn't find him. It ricochets back to him. He's done really well to bring that under control and find Cleworth. Cleworth has James short, but he chips it long instead. Clara beats Lee in the air, of course. Dykes palms it off. Good work by Matty James, and Rathbone feeds it forward. Another great tackle. Clara puts it out, challenging Lee. He really spots danger very quickly, doesn't he?
Feisty to start with, isn't it? There's a few tackles flying in straight away. It's that same mentality. Half time, you're in the dressing room, you're like, come on, we go again when we get out there. First one to put a tackle in, put your marker down. How it's going to be in this second half, and both teams are doing exactly that.
Dobson wins a good header, then Palmer. Ball's cleared by Leonard. O'Connor puts it back in there. Barnett flicks on nicely. Palmer with a insouciant little flick, but it drops between two teammates. The ball forwards by Leonard is more of a clearance than a pass, mind, although so it gave May something to chase. And Wrexham passing around in their own half. James plays it long. Lee is unlucky. He manages to chest it down under pressure from Clara. And Laird runs it off the pitch. Does he know he's won the throw off Rathbone? Yeah, I like Clara. I like that step in there. And he spots danger and commits properly. That header clear in added time after McLean tried to ball him with the outside of his foot. You know, plenty of defenders at this level, I feel, would have been flat-footed and wouldn't have attacked it, and he read it so well to head it firmly away.
Yeah, it's strange how the ball always seems to land on their heads, isn't it? You know,
yeah.
But that's experience. They just know exactly where to be, when to be. You know, I remember signing Dave Artell here, and
as Barnett's in a chase, but Cochrane's fast. He does really well. Gets across, Barnett wins the free kick. Barnett and the crowd are angry. But I thought Cochrane's pace handled that situation comfortably, to be fair.
Yeah, he did. And he just got across Ryan Barnett and did really well. Yeah, it's a free kick. That was similar to the one that wasn't given, though, for the first goal, wasn't it? You know, in behind and across him. Yeah, but I got Dave Artell, and it just, every time we were practicing and we were putting balls into the box, he just seemed to head it out the box. And you're like, it's not a fluke. Do you know what I mean? That's happening. It's just that he's there and he heads it out. He knows where to be.
Cleworth wins a good header down the line. Oh, Rathbone attacks that. Collision with Cochrane. Now Birmingham aren't happy with it. Beg your pardon, Dobson, not Rathbone. I mean, he was going for the ball, but he came sprinting in at speed and hit him pretty hard. With what, his shoulder?
No, I think it was his head, wasn't it? As he came across, but
yeah,
he has every right to go for it, but he's always racing and chasing, isn't he, to try and get there, to have any 50-50, probably 60-40, and just behind it, it's probably a booking, isn't it? I would have thought, but nothing more serious than that. The Birmingham players swarmed it.
Yeah, the ref doesn't seem to be heading towards. No, he's having a little word with him, but it looks like that's it. I've got to say, the Wrexham fans having a go at Cochrane. I think you're entitled to fall over when you hit that hard, to be fair.
I agree.
I would argue, never mind shouting cheat at him, he could have stayed down, rolled around and tried to get him in trouble, but he did get up probably as quickly as you can.
Yeah, especially at the pace Dobson was going.
Dobson wins a tackle, sorry. Palmer just beaten to it by, of course, the ever-present Christophe Clara. Oh, sorry, Mia.
No, I was just saying the pace he was going and he went even faster in front of my eyes.
Here he is again, and he hits the shot, and the keeper has to parry. Gets a loose ball. But Wrexham suddenly getting on their toes. Yeah, Dobson, and again chasing and winning that tackle, and Palmer nearly got there first and would have been one-on-one. Good stuff from Dobson, who's fired up now.
Yeah, he's just come alive after that little collision. Something inside him's just lit that little bit of fire.
Unfortunately for Wrexham, Palmer didn't get there, because Christophe Clara, very much the German Dave Artell, they call him, was able to read the situation and get across. Birmingham with a long diagonal looking for Stansfield. Good header. And a long-range shot is blocked well by Matty James, who saw the danger. Dykes it was who struck it. Ball drops loose, but O'Connor's quick to feed it wide to Rathbone, and he chips down the line. Won't find Lee, though. Ball only half clears. Through to Wrexham.
Well, like you just said, somebody's just pressed the on button, haven't they, for Dobson, because he's just gone. I think it's the header that's got him going a little bit, but then he goes firing in on the press, gets a toe as well as the pass, I think. But again, Ollie Palmer so close to nicking it, and then off he goes again. You know, things like that, just a cheap cheer for the crowd. They get you right behind you, and then it gives you that extra little energy boost to go again.
Here's Birmingham come out from the back. I suspect Tris Davis might be feeling they've not really got things going in the second half as they did in the first half. Wrexham getting at Birmingham instead as they move the ball around at the back. Clara rolling it in to the feet of Leonard, neatly around the corner to Laird. Wrexham are committing players to the press. Astle, the keeper, squares it. Clara bringing it out, helps it on one. Davis down the line to the halfway line again. Dobson charging around, shoves his man over, and in fact the Wrexham get the throw in. The refs allowing a bit of physical contact, maybe a little bit generously, but it's suiting Dobson down to the ground.
It adds to the game, though. Yeah. You know, if he's blowing every free kick every time somebody touches somebody, so stop-start. But this game is electric at the minute. And it's right because the ref's letting it go at times.
And Wrexham are giving as good as they're getting in this second half. That's a good ball down the line for Lee, who takes on his man, doesn't quite get past Clara, but instead is scooped into the box. McLean's done really well to bring that down with the outside of his foot, tries to drill in the cross. It's well blocked, and the ball spins out for a throw right next to the corner flag. Get Tozer off the bench, I say. It's McLean with the ball in his hands.
Pull him out of that Sky studio. Get him
Exactly, yeah. He throws it in short. The Wrexham fans are enjoying this. Rathbone back to McLean. Swoops it in. Palmer attacks it. Wind just beaten to the header. In fact, it's half clears. And now Birmingham look to break. But it's good cover that again by Matty James. He just got there and made sure Wrexham has possession. Oh, it's lost by Barnett cheaply though. And Birmingham try to break. The early balls are poor, but no easy for Okonkwo. Matty James is limping quite heavily. I thought at first he might have just lost a boot, but no, he's hurt his foot there. But he's looking to join back into play now as Rathbone feeds it back to Okonkwo. Okonkwo drills it long. But again, he doesn't pick out Palmer. And Davis has time to bring the ball down. Birmingham in the centre circle. Dykes feeding it backwards. Birmingham have not really got that service the attacking players is going as well as they did in the first half. That's a good run that. But having said that, Cleworth very calmly comes across and takes the ball off Stansfield. Okonkwo slashes the ball out for a throw-in. Andy Cannon warming up. Yeah, that service has just been cut off to Birmingham's forwards. They're staying up the pitch, but they're not hitting them. As Leonard switches nicely to Laird. He works it down the line. Right, give him time to turn. Laird's gone outside. He feeds it to the edge of the box. Dykes on the stretch, controls it well, and then looks to play in Laird. Rathbone went to ground and manages to get his body in the way, and he was pushed in the back. Free kick to Wrexham. Yeah, but Wrexham, I think, should be very happy opening 10 minutes of this half. Maybe our best 10 minutes in a way of the game. Cleworth in time to James, who's under pressure, and James chips it out for a throw-in. Couldn't do much else. Dykes was right on him. So a throw-in for Cochrane.
Yeah, it's just the pace of passing to James. He just needs it a bit firmer so that he can just go first time around the corner with the man that tight to him. But just Max, maybe just a little bit off it so that he gets it right, and they can't then play the next little stage.
Nice turn by Leonard in midfield. He's driving forwards. James is moving freely as he goes shoulder to shoulder with him. That'll be a corner. Good work by James. Leonard wanted a foul. He was never getting that. That was really good, strong, robust running with James shoulder to shoulder.
I think he was wanting a penalty. It's like calling for a handball, Max. No chance of that, but I suppose you just shout for anything. Why not?
Yeah. In swinging corner. And Wrexham again have everybody back defending. Leonard is with the corner. Two Birmingham strikers in the box. It's an in-swinger. Played again beyond the far post. Clara's got loose again, and he mishits it behind. It's a tight angle, but he had a chance to push it back into the crowded goal mouth and totally mishit it.
Really big opportunity that, I think and Clara, you can see on his face, he knows he should do better with it. Again, it's that corner routine. We've seen it already a few times in that first half. Just one man pulls out the back, creates that space, and you get that ball back into the box, you're always in trouble as the defending team. So hard to defend against.
Palmer goes beyond him, goes beyond Lee as well, who also misjudges the bounce, and straight through to Astle.
Yeah, there needs to be something done about the set pieces, because we've been 3 times now where they've got a man free around the back. Not necessarily the same man, but the player that is marking them is getting blocked. So they've got to either communicate a little bit more so that they can make sure that somebody is available to just drop off at the back post, or you've got to wrestle yourself through those people, those bodies, and stick with your man, or stop your man running where he wants to go.
The Wrexham was certainly putting more pressure on Birmingham in their own half. That was Palmer and Lee then putting pressure on the centre-backs, and as a result, Davis has slashed it out of play for a throw and a half. Palmer flicks on nicely, but it's headed clear by Davis. Second ball's won by Rathbone, and Clara launches it high into the sky. Underneath it, that's a good header by Scar. Did really well. It's well brought down by Palmer. Finds Barnett on the right-hand side. Only the 2 forwards inside him. Good tackle by Cochrane. Throws to Wrexham 25 yards out. Dobson's demanding it. Barnett doesn't want to do that. And so Dobson's gone on to the corner of the box. Cleworth is offering, Wrexham fans impatient. The ball's thrown in, Lee takes it on the chest, goes down too easily on the edge of the box, no foul. Cleworth, great foot in, finds Rathbone on. Rathbone was in a hurry to try and turn and get a shot off then. And as a result took his eye off the ball and it bounced away from him. But here comes McLean running at Laird, goes on the outside, rips a great ball in. McClara though is there of course. James beaten to the second ball, but it falls for O'Connor. The fans tell him to shoot. I think he's wise not to. He was closed down quickly. Cleworth, lovely play, just chips the ball out to McLean in a bit of space. Oh, he's offside. And that's frustrating, that is, but good spell of pressure by Wrexham.
Yeah, they're just keeping the ball alive. Every time that Birmingham head it out, they're able to pick up that second ball, and whether it's that first challenge that's putting somebody off. But really, McLean shouldn't be offside from that. It's disappointing to keep the attack going. But we have got the two wingers in this league that put the most crosses in out of anybody in the league, and so why not get it out there? Why not get it out wide and let's put balls in the box and ask questions? Yes, Clara is good in the air, he's picking good positions up, but one of these passes, one of these crosses is going to go in and he's not going to be in the right position, and hopefully we can take that and maybe get another chance. Exactly
so, as Birmingham now on the left hand side. Cochrane into the Wrexham half, the ball switched across to the right hand side, and again it's Laird. Wrexham in the mid block. Good footwork right, bursting, great acceleration. This now squares it on, shooting chance for Dykes, denied by Dobson, who's having a good second half. Gets a good foot in on the edge of the box. That's McLean chipping down the line. Nice pass to Lee, who holds it up. McLean's gone inside him. Lee is pulled to the ground. Free kick to Wrexham.
Well played, McLean, because he's very easily just shells that down the pitch, but he sees that Lee is just running into a pocket of play, and he just eases it down the line, puts it into his path, and enables Lee to then bring it in and protect it, shield it, and we are able to get a free kick.
There's a free kick which is in midfield and is driven towards the edge of the box. Palmer jumping, nods it down beautifully. Lee on the chase, doesn't quite get there. Good strength by Clara, who then plays the back pass and hurries as well as to just drill it to the halfway line. Good brave header by Scar, picks out Dobson, who rolls it down the line. Barnett tries to cut inside his man, miscontrols it twice. His pace gets him out of trouble the first time. Second time the ball's nicked from him. Oh, well won back again by the energy, the perpetual motion of Rathbone. And now Wrexham again on the halfway line. We've been pretty relentless this half. It's been excellent to go at Birmingham like this. Lee again is shoved to the floor. Referee does get the foul, but Wrexham have had an attempt to switch by O'Connor, who pops up on the edge of the box, but it's intercepted. And now the little pass bypasses Wrexham's press. Cleworth though, good pace, gets that ahead of Stansfield. Stansfield tackles him, and that's a Wrexham throw. Great work by Cleworth.
Yeah, you can just see on that turnover of possession the desire of those red shirts to work hard and get back in. It's exactly what you want to see. Just need to keep that up, because Birmingham can hurt us on that counter. Wasn't something I thought I'd be saying, but Wrexham, with all this possession, just need to make sure we take advantage of this while we can.
Well, Wrexham very impressive in the second half. Here's Lee laying the ball off. Palmer clatters into his man, crunching tackle by Dobson. Foul given, I assume, against Palmer rather than Dobson. Although he hasn't been booked, but he's had in the sort of game that shows why he usually gets into 15 or so yellows a season, isn't he? He's really diving into tackles.
Well, I think it was Palmer, the first one, because I think Dobson's tackle was a beauty. He's been brilliant this second half. Him and Rathbone have been right at it on the press. I think Parkinson's got into my half-time and goes, we did a little bit too respectful of this team when they're in possession. Go about them. They're not the same team without Iwata and Paik in the team, you know, with ball control and how they develop and move the pass. So get about them and put them under a bit of pressure and make them play.
Yeah, those two are amazing at St Andrews with them. I mean, they just ran that game. And yeah, Wrexham have done very well second half. I mean, it's very pleasing, the whole game in general, but the second half in particular. You know, because it was a bit shaking seeing Birmingham look so good in that game at St Andrews. But when you look at this, Okonkwo's long kick is hooked out for a throw, 15 yards out, which Barnett takes quickly. Lee cuts inside nicely onto his left foot. He lays the ball off to James, quickly out to Barnett again. On the right hand side, rips in an early one. It's an awkward one for the keeper, who has to tip it over. He nearly did a Cara Jones there and just crossed it inside the far post.
Well, it's like Mia said, we're dominating at the moment. We're managing to get that ball back really quickly and we're able to play. We're putting crosses in the box. We've got to make sure that when we're on top that we take these chances if they come along.
Pressure continues. Corner ripped in with pace. Oh, what a save! Ludicrous save that. Flicked on by McLean at the near post. Hell of a save that. I wondered if it had crossed the line actually. I don't think it did, but McLean had his head in his hands. He couldn't believe it. Wow.
Well, it's a different type of corner for us because we don't often whip one into that near post, and McLean gets across his man. Little flick. Keeper's just in the right position.
We've got him here. I tell you, we just got to keep going. Oh, that's a poor pass that though by by Dobson. Great recovery. Cleworth did really well to stay in his feet. But wow, Wrexham so close there. Lee ripping in the corner. Great header. And yeah, he's falling backwards. Like I say, he's in the right place at the right time. He's done well to get his hands up so quickly. He's falling backwards and just manages to get a strong contact, strong wrists as the ball's crossing the line. Terrific header, terrific corner. Sadly for Wrexham, terrific save. But we are knocking on the door here. Here now, Birmingham coming forwards. On the left-hand side, sloppy ball. Barnett's very quick to get to that and launch it long and out of play for a throw to Birmingham, deep in their own half. And Wrexham are able to get up again to the halfway line. There's movements on the Wrexham bench, but I don't think they're thinking about a change, more just a tactical conflab down there. Birmingham are looking at a change though. Keshi Anderson, who was an injury doubt for today, is getting ready to come on. The Wrexham fans are singing for Stephen Fletcher. Now, here's Laird of a chance to drive forwards. He feeds it in, trying to send right away, but it's a poor pass again by Laird, and O'Connor now comes clear. Barnett, deep in his own half, turns, well done. Stansfield blocks his clearance, throw in. And I will see Anderson on.
Well, when you have an elite player who cost a fortune, he comes into your team and he's working the hardest out of anybody to stop players playing the ball forward, he will set the standard for you. And so you're looking at him going, well, he's getting paid a lot of money, but he's still putting it in. He's still desperate to win, and his desire is higher than anybody else's. I've got to be the same as a player, and he'll lead, maybe not by what he says or his experience, but how he does and how he goes about his business.
Yeah, he did well then, didn't he, Charles Cleworth? The change is made. Scott Wright is the player who's come off, and Keshi Anderson has come on. What looks like a straight swap, essentially, on the right-hand side. Throw down the line, Lee battling. Davis comes out with the ball, though. And now here's Laird. Ball's fed down the flank. Return ball, though, isn't a good one. But the ball's lost by Rathbone, and now Laird is able to drive forward. Option outside in. Anderson, who drives it in the goal mouth, and nobody can get a touch. And it's a goal kick to Wrexham by the corner flag. That was a nasty, fast-paced, driven ball then, but nobody could reach it.
No, and there's, a pair of Stansfield and Alfie May in there. 22 goals so far in the league between them, and just couldn't get on the end of that ball. It was a wicked ball in, like you say. He probably puts just too much on it. It's really difficult at that pace when they're running in themselves. Just needs a little touch on it, and I think he'll probably find its way in the back of the net with the pace on it.
There's Clare with a false header, and surprisingly, Lee doesn't get the free kick as he runs into Cochrane, throwing to Birmingham instead.
Yeah, the chance comes from McLean high up the pitch. Rathbone wriggles out, but then gets taken off him on a 2v1 on the press from Birmingham, and that releases Keshi Anderson down that right-hand side, and like you said, fizzes it across. Nobody can get a touch on it. It goes out for a throw-in.
And looking at it as well, so often people drive balls in like that. Oh, it's a good tackle high in the Birmingham half by Dobson, who's been tracking across, coming centrally when Wrexham press, and I think that's a difference to what he's normally done, which has worked well. Here's Rathbone swooping it in the box. Terrific interception by Davis, or Lee would have had a free volley from 6 yards out, and now Birmingham looks to break, and Rathbone clips his man May in the centre circle. Yeah, when that ball came in, so often people blast crosses in and they look spectacular, but really no one's going to get any end of it. But that one, I think Scar just overran it, but managed to stretch back, and he put May off. because I think May had got there, but then didn't make contact because he thought Scar was going to get a touch. As double change for Wrexham. And you can guess what it is. Mullin and Fletcher are going to come on. Elliot Lee and we would assume Palmer will come off. And they both deserve big ovations. Palmer's had a very good game up front, and Lee has been much more involved in the second half.
Yeah, well, we've been much more involved in the second half. So we, you know, the midfielders around him have got him the ball a little bit more in better positions, and it makes him look and come alive in the right areas. Just seeing the chance from McLean. Any other position, it really an inch higher, an inch lower, maybe it goes in, but a really good height for the keeper to just parry away. But yep, Fletcher, the man in form, comes on just to freshen up that top end of the pitch.
As Rathbone lunges in, Laird goes down, and the ref may go to his pocket. Yeah, he does. Rathbone gets booked. No huge objection from him. He lunged in. And Wrexham were doing that quite a bit in this half and getting it right and knocking Birmingham off their stride. But he caught Laird there. So the first booking in the match. Laird is slow to recover, but he's okay now. Didn't need treatment. So yeah, they've got the big front two on now. Let's see if they can deliver after Palmer's hard work wearing Birmingham down. Looking at that replay of that, to be fair, Rathbone's more slid across him than into him, and doesn't there's much contact on Laird. Like I said, Rathbone didn't complain. Because here is Laird now. Rathbone comes to him, and Laird works around the outside. Anderson goes chasing down the flank, looking for a return ball by Dykes. That forces O'Connor to put out a play. I think bringing Wright off is a comment on McLean's performance today. Defensively, he's really done well. As Dobson hooks it on, can't find Fletcher, but Fletcher puts pressure on Davis, who plays a hurried pass, and Barnett wins it from Cochrane. Barnett now, two Birmingham players coming across, and the crowd groan. But I think Barnett did well not to lose possession there. And Wrexham moving it around in their own half before Cleworth knocks it long. Mullin jumps, he's offside, didn't win it anyway. But straight away, Fletcher just doing a good job on the halfway line there.
Yeah, and Mullin had just, when he saw that Barnett had just stolen the ball, he just made his run, peeled off right off the back into half a pitch on his own. And if Barnett had managed to see it, it's a really difficult position to be. Could have played it into there, he was off and running. But when he's more focused on getting the ball back than he is making that next pass.
Here's Anderson. May picks the ball up wide, rips the ball in. Good hands from Okonkwo, takes it as his near post. It was ripped in with pace. And of course, Okonkwo's got that reach. He can make a ball around the edge of the 6-yard box look quite straightforwards.
Yeah, he's got the wingspan of a golden eagle, hasn't he? You know, he seems to be able to touch both posts with either arm in the middle. Since he's come back in, he's not had too many saves to make. I've been a bit disappointed with his kicking, to be fair. I think he can probably do a little bit better job with his kicking, but I'm sure it'll come along the more games he plays.
As Wrexham come forwards now, McLean has got his man isolated, cuts inside, and as he clips, no, ref doesn't give it. McLean's furious, and Anderson, having got away with that challenge, is bursting forwards. Only May has kept up with him, so he has to hold her up on the right, but he's looked lively since he's come on. He plays it in, and Dobson does well, sliding back, tracking the run of Stansfield. Doesn't actually make contact, but he puts Stansfield off. Cleworth now with a testing ball down the right. Mullins herring after that. He's blocked off cleverly, though, by Davis. Throw by the corner flag to Birmingham.
Yeah, but great work rate by Paul Mullin. Thought for a second he was actually going to get to it. Ben Davis does really well in the end to get his body in. But that's another, real question mark for them two defenders with, this new striking pair coming on now. Paul Mullin's going to make him run a whole lot more than Elliot Lee and Ollie Palmer probably did.
Well, I think Anderson coming on for Birmingham as well has certainly done the same for them. He has added certainly a bit of pace down that right-hand side that Wright didn't give them.
Yeah, he's really trying to drive and sometimes come into the channel and drive as well. As Cleworth clearance again, well charged down by Stansfield, who continues to put that shift in that Andy was talking about. Cleworth, they'll know in their data as well that apart from pinning Cleworth back by being aggressive and forward-thinking, you don't want him finding it easy to feed the ball forwards. He's a good user of the ball, and Stansfield's done his job well. As Fletcher wins a throw in about 30 yards higher up the pitch. Cleworth will take that again, just in front of the dugout, will he? No, Barnett's going to throw it in.
We've got to try and maintain the same intensity that we've had for the first 30 minutes of this half.
Well, that was a very high kick towards Fletcher, who didn't ask for anything, but it was a high boot in the penalty area. Didn't make contact, crucially. Good tackle by Matty James, but it's squirted across to Clara, who has space to drive forwards and works it wide. It's picked up now on the right by Laird, who rides the challenge. And Dobson again lunging in. Free kick is given though.
Nice, hit the ref, so...
Oh, hit the ref, beg your pardon. I was just looking down because I thought my penalty shout. Which...
Well, the ref made a great pick and roll there in the way of one of the Birmingham players. So drops it. We actually had a chance of nicking that. The ref got in the way.
Yeah, pity that, as there is. Birmingham work it wide. Again, Anderson, chance to run at McLean. Rathbone comes to help and he blocks the cross when it finally comes in. Throw in to Birmingham 10 yards out. Approaching the last 15 minutes of this compelling game as McLean launches a long diagonal clearance, and again Mullen will race after it, and he's put good pressure on Davis and forced him to put out a play, and Parkinson wants to quickly get that ball to Barnett to see if there's any option to feed it forwards quickly. There isn't, but again Mullen, just two lost causes that he's chased after, and he gets the crowd going as well.
Yeah, exactly that. Lost cause is a perfect description. Exactly what Phil Parkinson will want him to do, especially if Birmingham do start coming into this game a bit more. When we get that clearance away, make sure Mullen can get on the end of it.
He picks her up on the right side of the box, drills her across the face, and Fletcher was there, couldn't quite make contact, it's drilled back in, but mishit by McLean. It was a great drive in by Mullen into the goal mouth. And actually, Dobson was
it was Dobson that got.
Yeah,
Fletcher was I think it was a neat little pass, just on the edge, just a little reverse. And Mullen fires it across. It's Dobson, just can't sort his feet out. And then McLean certainly can't sort his feet out. He goes for the Karate Kid-esque volley and just shifts off his foot wide of the post. But again, a really good opportunity.
It certainly was. Dobson's only, 10 yards out. Is now May. That's a good ball down the channel. Stansfield, tight angle, pulls it back. May, that's over, hits it. Okonkwo gets across. The Birmingham fans asking for a penalty. And certainly May made contact with a couple of players. But he's not asking for a foul. It was just a natural buffeting when you try and run into a crowd. Now Okonkwo's taking a knock, is it, to his face? And the referee's calling a physio on.
Either that or something maybe in his eye.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the replay. The first glimpse, you couldn't really see any contact on him as such. It was determined play by May. It was a good run by Stansfield. When he fed it back, May rode a couple of challenges, but yeah, you may be right. Could it be something in his eye? May was driving forwards. O'Connor did very well, actually, didn't he?
He did. He just stood across him.
Yeah, he just got that little nudge, not enough to be a foul by any stretch of the imagination. And Conker looks to be squinting, looking at the monitor. So yeah, I think it is something's gone into his eye, it looks like. And well, that's something they can sort out quickly. Birmingham players coming over to get refreshment. Only Rathbone does. Wrexham trying to send a message, look how strong we are. I remember that Liverpool in the League Cup final in the early 80s and went to extra time, I think, against Man United, and Joe Fagan was manager. He said to Liverpool players, don't sit down on the floor. All the United players are sitting down on the floor. And he said, look how tired they look. We don't have to sit down, do we? I don't know why I'm saying it in a Bill Shankly voice. Because Joe Fagan definitely wasn't Scottish.
Sounded just like him.
It was amazing, wasn't it? That, yeah. Because my Scottish voice sounds Scouse, doesn't it? Big kick by Okonkwo, and Fletcher's come across and made a loose ball. Dobson fighting for it as well, and here's McLean. Cuts onto his right foot, to poor pass though. And James does well to get a foot in. No foul given against him. Dobson fighting hard. James, great vision, finds Mullen, sets himself. Clara does well, gets a block. It spins just onto the roof of the net. Corner. Just for a second I thought we had an Andreas Bremer, Paul Parker situation. But it drops over the bar.
Yeah, I just think Mullen's first touch just isn't out of his feet enough for him to strike it. picks up a really good space. But if that first touch is better, he gets the shot. Clara just comes, holds his position, sees that he's had that extra touch, then he comes out and gets a good block on it. But like you said, it spins up and on top of the goal. Corner to Wrexham.
Just like that 1990 World Cup semi-final again, the German gets the right side of the deflection. In swinger then from O'Connor, under the bar, keeper's ball, took it well. The Wrexham fans got a bit excited, some of them, because he took a step back towards his own goal. They're wondering if he'd carried it over the line. He certainly hadn't. Fletcher stops him releasing early, and Astle pretends to shove the ball into Fletcher's face, playfully, I'm sure. And now here's Birmingham again on the ball. It's Clara. Davis up to the halfway line. He's got an option outside and uses it. Ball fed in early by Gardner Hickman inaccurately. The pass to James by Clueth wasn't the kindest, but James as well finds Mullen, who rips it in for Fletcher. Awkward bounce, brings it down edge of the area. 2 defenders to beat. Good block, Clara again. Just reading that situation. Didn't commit till he had to. McLean then runs into Clara. Ref gives McLean that one. Parkinson throws his arms to his sides in sarcastic delight and clasps his hands looking to the heavens. We've got a free kick.
Well, right there, you've got classic Paul Mullin. Gets a great first touch this time. Obviously sees Fletcher pulling off into the same position that he made a run similar to before. That's where all the space was. A fantastic ball into Fletcher's feet. I thought he would just take it on the volley and go for it because there's nobody up with him. He takes his little touch, then he shifts it onto his left. Again, Clara with the block. And then it is a free kick as he goes out to pressure on McLean.
And the ref got it right, actually. Look at the replay. I wasn't so sure at first, but yeah, Clara stood his ground and blocks McLean off. Free kick level the edge of the area, left flank. Birmingham with everyone back defending this time. What can Wrexham do here? O'Connor whips it to the far post, nicely headed towards goal. It's saved, drops loose, and it squirts wide. Corner. Big moment, great corner. Good save by the keeper, and deflection in the 6-yard box sends it wide.
Well, somebody keeps electrocuting me over here because she's jumping up and down next to us like she wants to head it in herself. Brilliant, but it just was in slow motion there, wasn't it? When it went to Fletcher, he heads it across. Keeper should have caught it, and it's the follow-up that goes in and blocked out for another corner.
Here it comes, O'Connor. Good ball in again. It's in the goal mouth. A huge scramble and it comes clear. Ridiculous scramble that was. Goodness me. How did that not go in? Wrexham, you're not just knocking on the door. You set fire to it, but we still can't quite get the ball in the net. So Fletcher flicking it on, and it's cleared. Good work. Matty James wins it back, gets the free kick. Anderson challenging him. That was a ludicrous scramble in the goal mouth from the set piece, though, wasn't it?
Yeah,
how's that not gone in?
I know, I don't understand for the life of me how we haven't found the back of the net. But again, just want to give Tom O'Connor a lot of credit. His set pieces today have been really top drawer. Every single one, the quality's been superb. He deserves an assist or more, I think.
Rukas Lutjevic is going to come on soon as Clueth hits a creamy switch to McLean. Nods it forwards to Rathbone, who rips it in the box. Clara there once more, launches it away. He's cleared the Mould Road stand. That's not something done easily. And the ball thrown is taken quickly by McLean. O'Connor with another good ball then. Half-headed clear by Davis. He just beat O'Connor to it. And now here is Clueth driving forwards. Squares it. James again. Lovely ball out to the right. Played some lovely passes in the second half, James. Barnett ripping in another good cross. Clara again is there. Poor touch at the back. One back by James and hacked away under the bar. Wrexham are piling it on here. Tremendous to watch. Wrexham under handball and the ref has given it. Free kick to Wrexham. 35 yards out just as Birmingham were breaking. Wow.
Well, it's so loud in here now. The roof's come off. I didn't hear the whistle go. I thought Birmingham were away. But the atmosphere in here is absolutely superb. Wrexham, with 8 minutes to go, need to just keep this intensity, this pressure on Birmingham, and hopefully we can knock that door down, Mark.
Well, Jukovic is coming on for Alfie May, and I can't help thinking, and this is a real compliment to Wrexham, that part of the thinking is that Jukovic is going to be useful on set pieces when they're defending. Because Mason's very good up front.
Yeah, I think he's been brilliant, but I think that little knock that he maybe had with James has just affected him slightly, and he just wasn't moving as well and closing down as well as he was in the first half, and maybe that had something to do with him just being took off. But yes, they've put on Djukovic, bit of height, bit of experience.
Free kick taken, hooked in the goal mouth, headed clear. Here's Barnett on the right now. Hooks it straight back in the crowded area. Fletcher was pushing it back, was he? Ref says not. Well, here's Barnett then, chance to cross. Good block by Cochrane, and he's managed to clear it as well. Not very far, mind, and it's flicked back in by James. Clara there once more. James runs across and covers that well. Now it's chipped towards by Scar, looking for Mullin. Man, this is fun. Ball's picked up on the halfway line. That's a good touch by Stansfield. Got 3 Wrexham players on him, and he's done well to accelerate away until Rathbone runs him off the pitch, and Stansfield took a kick at him there after the ball had gone. Parkinson has stepped in. Actually, he's talking to Rathbone rather than drawing attention to that.
Well, I have to say sorry, Mark. I don't know how. I have to see it again, but it looked like there was a blatant push on Fletcher in the box just a few minutes ago.
It was suspicious, and Fletcher was asking for it as Mullin tries to play a little through ball. Clara clears.
Well, I 100% agree with Mia, because we're watching it. The ball's right up in the air. They're both jostling for position, and it's a blatant two-handed push on Fletcher to just move him out the way, right in front of the referee as well. And the ball's not really anywhere near him.
Wrexham keep pushing, but goodness me, this is impressive. 6 minutes left. Barnett battling with Cochrane as well to dig out a pass to Cleworth. He squares it. Dobson squares it. James, 25 yards out, helps it to go corner. Quickly out to McLean. Wrexham shifting it quickly. Great run by Rathbone. Offers, receives, turns and wins a free kick again. Birmingham are on the ropes. They're reeling here, aren't they? They can't get the ball out. They can't get the ball off us.
I can almost hear the Rocky Balboa music, Mark. I can feel it coming. We just need that knockout punch.
Exactly.
Well, here's another gesture for Wrexham, because Billick's coming on as well. Defensive midfield, centre-half, played in midfield last weekend, to just come and try and get some sort. And Jay Stansfield coming off. That's a big, huge, massive boost to Wrexham. Birmingham know that they've been in a game. This second half, Wrexham have been absolutely outstanding, and it's exactly what you wanted off the back of last week's game. Can they put that pressure and make it tell?
Yeah, absolutely. This has been massive by Wrexham. Talk about bouncing back from a poor performance. Understandably, Stansfield's taken an eternity to walk off, and the referee's over on the far side of the pitch, making sure that the one-man wall is back far enough. Wrexham fans thinking, what a waste of money. Well, I wouldn't concur with that, to be honest, but his race is run today. Bielik goes in. Another tall player brought on in the last couple of minutes, and he immediately takes up a position in the centre of the 6-yard box. So, free kick to Wrexham, left-hand side. As Mia said, O'Connor's set pieces have been excellent. Birmingham are quite deep. Wrexham have got 3 players.
The pullback's on, isn't it? If everybody goes in.
Well, he whips it in the 6-yard box instead, and it's half cleared. Barnett now, corner of the box, takes a touch to go around the outside. Cochrane's come to him. It's man against man here, and Barnett's cross wins a corner as he flicks it off Cochrane. It's intense, this, isn't it? Isn't it?
Yeah.
Terrific.
That's been a good battle, though, hasn't it, down that side. Barnett's had his chances 1v1. Cochrane stood up to it. Barnett's got his crosses in, but going the other way as well. With Stansfield going in the pitch, Cochrane's also gone high and wide, causing a few issues, especially in the first half.
So another in-swinger from Cochrane. The referee's gone into the goal mouth to sort out some pushing. He's happy now. Big crowd in and around the 6-yard box. O'Connor respots the ball. A hush comes down on the racecourse. What can O'Connor deliver? Whips it in to the near post. Good defensive header that. Oh, it's goal kick given.
No way.
No way. That was a terrific defensive header to put it over the bar, surely. Actually, the referee, well, whether the referee's had a whisper in his ear or not, I don't know, but he has given the goal kick. I thought O'Connor was going across to take it after all, but well, I'm surprised at that.
Well, it's definitely come off one of the Birmingham players over the bar. Whether he's given a free kick, I'm not too sure.
Well, Cleworth attacked it, it went over his head, and that was the only Wrexham player at the near post. And unless he's given it, I mean, a player went down at the far post, whether he's giving it for something off the ball. Cochrane it was.
Well, by the looks of it, I thought Jusovic definitely got on the end of it by the way they were all patting him on the back, but no.
I think he must have given the free kick looking at it. Cochrane went down a bit theatrically, but hey. As Rathbone prodding it forwards, too much on it for Fletcher, but Mullin chases and puts Clara under pressure as he plays the back pass. It's worked out to Cochrane. Dobson forces the error again, just lunging in. I got to be honest, when I saw him jumping in, I thought, no, please don't do this. But he did well to put him off.
Haven't we been so much better in the second half in doing that, putting pressure on? In the first half, they were able to get the ball there and then play forward. We've just released one of our midfielders, able to go and just go free and just trust your back three to deal with the three up there.
Wrexham now shifting from right to left. O'Connor down the line. McLean again has got Rathbone tirelessly making those runs ahead of him. Pulls it back to O'Connor. It's blocked. Throw into Wrexham. Level the edge of the box. Left hand side. Quickly by McLean. Finds Mullin. Good movement by him. He hooks it in the goal mouth. Fletcher just beaten to it by Davis. And now in midfield on his own. Jukovic is beaten to it in the air. Wrexham, or Dykes rather. It's cleared long. That's good work by Cleworth. He gets across, wins it, and then comes driving forward himself. The crowd are roaring him on. He stands it up behind Fletcher. He slips. Laird heads it clear. James is winning everything in midfield, but it ricochets kindly to Anderson. Birmingham are hardly tearing ahead of the ball as they just slow things down a bit and get their players up the pitch.
Well, they're the biggest side I think we've played against at the moment, because they've just got every player is over 6'3" at the moment.
And Wrexham open them up again. Rathbone, good ball to Dobson, helps it on to Barnett. Birmingham had a chance to get some possession at last and squandered it cheaply. Barnett on the halfway line. Scar looks for the diagonal. He's aiming for McLean and he's nailed it. McLean, lovely first time touch, rips in. Fletcher missed it. Didn't make proper contact on it. Everybody thought that was it.
Well, it's the touch from Davis. It's literally a minutest of touches that he gets. But Fletcher sees it. The lights are on in his eyes because he thinks he's on the end of that cross. A brilliant touch by McLean. A great cross right in front of him. And Davis just takes it off his forehead and those flowing locks out for a corner.
Fans groan. Only 4 minutes added on. You're right. What a header that was by Davis. Here comes O'Connor's corner to the near post, and it's firmly headed away by Anderson. Barnett lets it bounce, heads it over Anderson, and O'Connor gets him behind him nicely, gets into the box, rips the ball in again, a good header clear. It's picked up by McLean, who pulls it back, and it's inaccurate. Throw into Wrexham. Goodness me, that's noise from the fans. Unbelievable. They continue to push on.
Well, can I say that the spirit of the game, though, has been exceptional. It's been feisty, it's been intense. The players been right at it, but there's been handshakes, there's been pulling up people up. It's been played in brilliant spirit, and it's a top quality game as well.
Birmingham have a chance to break here. It's lifted over the top by Dykes, but well read by McLean, who nods it down. Cleworth clears, poor past that, and Laird has got time on the halfway line. We've had 1 of the 4 added minutes. Birmingham just slow it down a bit, but they've got a chance to work it wide with Laird. Again, they're not really looking to progress the ball forwards quickly.
They're certainly not the same team, are they, without Iwata in the team? They tick under him, and he's like a pendulum. He keeps the ball, but they don't keep it as well without him.
That's really well won by Jukovic, and Dykes drives this and puts it just wide, and well. I didn't expect to be saying this at half-time, but if that had gone in, that would have been absolute daylight robbery. It's a good strike. I don't think Okonkwo had it covered. But yeah, Wrexham survive a scare. Okonkwo then with the kick. We've had nearly 2 now of the added minutes. Gardner Hickman it was who hit that shot. Long ball through the middle. Fletcher flicks it on. Mullin on a chase. Davis is there though. And Laird heads it back to his keeper. Just for a moment they got a bit close, and you think, if Laird gets a proper contact on this, we could have an own goal here. But it was comfortable enough. So, right-footed clearance. O'Connor jumps and is pushed in the back, surely. Yep, free kick. And Wrexham with another chance to get bodies up the pitch. McLean running up already. And Wrexham just complaining Birmingham are stopping the ball coming back for them. So, free kick in the Wrexham half. Scar arrives late and he and Fletcher underneath. There's Fletcher battling. Good defensive header, clear. Dobson does well to get a foot to it. Cochrane volleys it clear of his penalty area. And it's worked back to Okonkwo. Okonkwo pumps it forwards. Cochrane unchallenged under that. Heads it into midfield. And it's a hard tackle by Dobson. And then James who wins it. Barnett nearly gets past his man. Throw to Wrexham on the halfway line. A minute of added time left. What a game this has been. What a game. And what a performance by Wrexham. Can they find something as Fletcher touches it on? Auckland Mullen keeps it alive. Clara is able to clear. It's headed to the edge of the area. And now it'll be launched clear down the flank. Anywhere it'll do. Good header by Scar, and it's flicked on by James and Orker, and Cochrane heads it up in the air. Dobson comes to him. It's a poor clearance. Barnett volleys it in. Knocked away by Davis. Good foot in again by Scar, and again Rathbone hits a long one for Fletcher to fight with. The defender lets it bounce, and Fletcher picks it up. Oh, and it drops on his shoulder. Hacked away for a throw. This has got to be it. Parkinson telling his players to get forwards. Throw in, level the edge of the area. Cleworth will take it. We've had the 4 minutes. Cleworth hurls it towards the near post, and it's headed into the goal mouth. Mullen can't win it. It's cleared. McLean flicks it into the goal mouth, and it'll be hacked away by Clara. And that is the final whistle. And wow, that wasn't bad, was it? That what a performance by Wrexham in the second half, particularly. But overall, 1-1 the final score. Brilliant stuff.
Tell you what, that's the best Wrexham performance I've seen in a long time. I thought every single player in that red shirt on that pitch was absolutely phenomenal, particularly in that second half, like you say, Mark. You know, we really, I mean, you wouldn't think that's a Birmingham City side of the quality that they have. I mean, I know they've got players out, players of real good quality, but still, that was unbelievable. I think, you know, the biggest credit you can give to them boys is we're probably all a bit disappointed we've only come away with 1 point. But what a performance, what something amazing to build on now going into the rest of the season. And wow, I mean, they've really set the standard with that second half.
Yeah, it'll really give them a boost, I think, for to kick on now for the rest of the season, especially if we can get a couple of bring a couple of players in over the next 5 or 6 days. But that is a real standard setter. They were brilliant in that second half. Birmingham on the ropes. They didn't really know how to go about playing or getting back into the game. They were happy to take a point, and Wrexham so unlucky from set pieces to not come away with all 3 points. But that's how to play football, and that is a real bounce back from last Thursday, and it's a real pointer to say, yeah, we're right in the hunt here, and we can get up automatic if we can play like that every week.
Yeah, absolutely tremendous stuff from Wrexham. That is Andy and me are now going down to report on Wrexham's YouTube channel, but the Wrexham players are getting a terrific ovation as they walk around the pitch. Superb performance by Wrexham. There was an edgy, nervous air about the racecourse before the game. There isn't now. I tell you what, because Wrexham have really gone at Birmingham and put in a superb performance. The Birmingham players applauding their fans too. But Wrexham took the lead through a fine strike by Ollie Rathbone. Birmingham, I thought, should have had a penalty, to be honest, in the 4th minute, handball by Dan Scar. And they played very well in the first half. They got themselves their equaliser as well. Alfie May with a close range finish from a set piece. And with a better side in the first half, played a lot of good football, had a lot of possession, but Wrexham were competitive. Certainly were more aggressive than they were when we played at St Andrews earlier this season. And then in the second half, wow, we really tore at them. It was fantastic to watch. Wrexham really, really put on a show. Terrific heart from Wrexham. Dobson and Rathbone's energy. Well, I can't single them out, because in the second half, Wrexham were just intense. They were aggressive. They were superb off the ball and on the ball, and putting up so much pressure. Magnificent save by Astle from a header by McLean from a Tom O'Connor corner. From the resulting corner, there was a ludicrous ludicrous goalmouth scramble that somehow didn't quite go in. Wrexham had a good shout for a penalty as well. Fletcher being pushed off the ball and really went at Birmingham. Birmingham bringing on defences substitutions, bringing on Jukiewicz to add height defending set pieces rather than to use them going up front. They were digging in, and at the end when Birmingham got the ball, well, they just didn't use it. They weren't looking to go forwards. That's how much we'd hurt them. They were just looking to keep the ball and run the clock down. It was absolutely tremendous, that from Wrexham. Absolutely superb. And Wrexham, well, anybody had doubts after the Shrewsbury game? I don't think we really need to have too much doubt about the quality of this Wrexham side. Just looking at the stats as well. 13 shots by Wrexham, 7 by Birmingham, 7 on target by Wrexham, 1 by Birmingham, the goal. I mean, that tells you a lot. But that second half was magnificent. 48 clearances by Birmingham. I bet a lot of them were in the second half. That was exhilarating, inspiring and spectacular, and Wrexham have just got to be delighted with that. A tremendous performance, a tremendous way to bounce back from that. Shrewsbury disappointed, and well, we've shown we can more than live with the strongest sides in this division. Tremendous stuff. Remember, you can join Andy and Mia now in the post-match report on Wrexham's YouTube channel. You can also listen out for a Quivan Tervenol, which will be coming up later, and the full Final Whistle podcast, where I can go into the game in a bit of detail. But I tell you what, that was high quality, and that should put a spring in every Wrexham step tomorrow. With the final score of Wrexham 1, Birmingham City 1. We've been Mark Griffiths, Andy Morrell and Mia Roberts from Wrexham AFC.